To the latest now from Sunrise, Florida, where 2 FBI agents were killed and 3 injured while trying to serve a search warrant on a child pornography suspect. The FBI says the suspect died in the shootout. News Nation correspondent Brian Entin joins us live from South Florida with our report tonight. Brian?
Joe, the FBI conducts these search warrants pretty frequently. It's easy to forget just how dangerous this job is when they have to get up early in the morning and knock on these suspects' doors. It's very, very risky. You see behind me the investigation ongoing tonight, trying to figure out exactly what went wrong in this situation. It all started early this morning about 6 a.m. That is when the FBI says this team that specializes in child pornography investigations showed up to this Sunrise apartment complex to go inside and serve one of these search warrants. Neighbors tell us they heard about 50 gunshots around 6 o'clock this morning. The FBI says 5 special agents were shot. 2 of them sadly died. 36-year-old Daniel Alfin and 43-year-old Lauren Schwarzenberger. Both of those special agents are parents to young children. This is a very sad day, obviously, for federal law enforcement. This is the first time in 30 years that 2 special agents have died in the line of duty at the same time.
Dan and Laura left home this morning to carry out the mission they signed up for and loved to do, to keep the American people safe.
The FBI says the suspect is dead, but they are not providing that person's name. Tonight, the Miami Herald is reporting that that suspect had some kind of doorbell camera and was able to watch as these special agents came up to the door and then shot through the door before the agents were even able to defend themselves. Live in Sunrise, Florida, Brian Entin, News Nation.
Just horrible, Brian.
Ain't karma a bitch? So, let's see. Hi, everybody, and welcome to my YouTube page. This is Mox News, and I'm your host. It's my YouTube page, Mox News. My name's Mike. It's my YouTube page, Mox News. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. And tonight I have many videos ready for you, including Oregon decriminalizes drugs. Yay! It's a party! But I think in celebration of Oregon legalizing many personal use drugs, LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, and the list goes on and on, I think we should have a big fat puff to celebrate that. They're going to make it, everybody who has doorbell cameras now are fucking cop killer terrorists. Don't you know? That's the reason you have that, so you can kill the cops. Because you need to know the cops are coming. Cop killer terrorist fuckers. Your goddamn doorbell ringing fucking cameras. I don't know about crack, but cocaine, methamphetamine, all kinds of heroin, all kinds of lovely fucking hardcore shit you can smoke. If that's what you're looking for, I'm sure you can find the crack too. Generally, that's not a problem. Just go down to any street corner downtown Seattle. Yeah, I'm looking for some crack. There'll be like 3 people come right up to you. At least that's been my experience. Let's see. I have never, ever, ever used crack. Never once. But I have scored crack with numerous people on numerous occasions. And it's horrible. I hate being around crack people. they're awful. They're the worst, man. Especially the people who sell the shit. It's like you're just waiting for them to like turn into a fucking pit bull or Rottweiler and kill you. It's really weird. Better to stay away from it, in my opinion. Let's see. I have a video about GameStop stock plummeting. Everybody's like, "Oh, the GameStop's plummeting." Plummeting from what? From $3? Because it was $3 when we started this shit. It's plummeting. That was the plan, dumbass. Let's see. FBI agents killed. We get to that one. Oregon decriminalizes drugs. Oh, and there was a protest last night where the little girl, the 9-year-old girl that was handcuffed and pepper sprayed by police. There was a protest last night. I have some video of that. And that's about it. We got a thing about gray whales and Tacoma police. So we have that going for us. It's a call-in show. If you people want to talk, the number's right there on the screen. I understand. I'm hearing that some people are afraid to call. Daniel. I don't know why. I'm a very friendly guy. I am a very approachable person. Trust me. Feel free. There is no worries, my brothers and sisters. You all are welcome. So let's watch the Oregon decriminalizes drugs so we can all celebrate together, eh?
Tonight is the first night people in Oregon can possess small amounts of heroin, meth, LSD, and other drugs without having to worry about getting arrested. A voter-approved ballot measure to decriminalize the drugs took effect today. Those caught with a small amount of drugs for personal use will now face a $100 fine or a health assessment that could lead to addiction counseling.
So we're just over a week away from the special election here in Washington. 27 of the state's 39 counties have measures on the ballot, including levies and bonds from dozens of school and fire districts. Ballots are due February 9th by 8 p.m. at a drop box, or they must be postmarked. We will have election results on our website, our King 5 app, and on King 5 News, starting at 9.
Starting today, Oregon is decriminalizing the possession of illegal drugs. It removes criminal penalties for low-level drug possession charges and replaces them with a $100 fine, which could be waived if a person seeks treatment. We're talking small amounts of heroin, meth, LSD, and some prescription drugs. Oregon is now the first state in the country to decriminalize drugs. It's important to clarify, though, this does not legalize them.
Naturally, they show a person shooting heroin because drugs are now legal, so everybody's going to start shooting heroin, and they show a big fat sack of meth with a big old meth pipe next to it, right? Because everybody can't wait to get hooked on drugs now that it's illegal. Instead of, showing a Jeff Bezos party full of hookers and cocaine. I mean, we can't show that, right? Can't show people having fun when it comes to drugs. It's got to be this fucking horrible fucking job. You have to worry about scoring drugs every day, otherwise you're going to be sick. Stupid fucking news cunts. I hate these news models, man. They're just like, freedom is bad. How many times do we have to tell you people freedom is bad? If we let you people have all the freedom you can use, you're going to hang yourself with it. If we let you have freedom, you're definitely going to hurt yourself. You may not hang yourself, but you're definitely going to hurt yourself. And you motherfuckers have to be babysat. And you know what? If you don't hurt yourself, you're going to hurt somebody else, or you might hurt one of us. And that's all we really care about. So we need to take away as much freedom as possible for you to make sure that you are under the thumb of the police state 24/7, 365. Because that's where it's at, Jack. You are under the thumb of the police state 24/7, 365, and if you question that for one motherfucking second, we are going to squash you like the little bug you are. The little bug we perceive you to be. That's our government in a nutshell, baby. Be afraid. Be afraid constantly, every second of every day. Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Terrorists, terrorists, terrorists. Everywhere. Domestic terrorists, foreign terrorists, people with guns. the Proud Boys, they're all coming for you. The BLM fuckers, they're coming for you. You know they are. What were they saying? The BLM, oh, pigs in a bacon, fry them like bacon. You know, whatever. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just always fear, 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 fear. Not, yay, freedom. Yay, freedom. Yay, fuck yeah, freedom. Where the fuck are these people? What planet do these people live on? Oh, we need to show somebody filling their syringe with heroin because there's drugs illegal now. And that way everyone can know they can go and get addicted to heroin in Portland. Everyone that wants to be addicted to heroin in Portland is already motherfucking addicted to heroin in Portland, you stupid fucks! The only thing this goddamn drug war police state has brought us is a heroin meth epidemic. Anybody with eyes open can see that. Oh, I hate freedom. Oh, no, we can't give them that much freedom. We give them that much freedom. Everything's going to go to shit. Yeah, and since September 12, 2001, oh, the dollar's going to collapse and we're all going to die. Oh, you can't have freedom because didn't you see did you not just watch that news clip? If we give you this freedom, everybody's going to be shooting up heroin and smoking meth. How stupid are you? They're already doing that. The people who want to be shooting heroin and smoking meth are already doing that. It's an epidemic in this country, and it was brought to you by your police state government and their bullshit drug war. Figure it out. We have to baby step everything. Freedom. Freedom is all that matters. Empathy is all that matters. You have freedom, you have empathy. You can hold your head high in this world and make happen beautiful things. Are those things taught? Are those things taught to us? Is anybody teaching us these things when we're a kid? No. They're teaching you to line up and do as you're told. No, you can't do that math equation that way. It doesn't work. It may work on this one math equation, but it's not going to work on other ones. You can't do it that way. I just did it that way. What the fuck are you talking about? You're an authority? You're a fucking authority figure? Freedom. Freedom. All about freedom. All about empathy. You have freedom. You have empathy. We can make this planet into anything we want it to be. We just have to move beyond the petty bullshit divides that were put there by people who don't want you to be free. The news media, the politicians, they don't want you to be free. They're terrified of your freedom. The news models, they're terrified of their freedom. You know why? Because they lie to you every day to protect the bullshit politicians who do crimes in your name every day. To protect the bullshit police who murder our citizens and put them in prisons and jail cells for doing nothing other than 1,000 generations of humans did before them. We can do better than this, people. I'd like to do better than this. I'd like to see freedom actually have value. I'd like to see people, who hold freedom in esteem, who hold empathy, who see empathy as, empathy is all that matters. Empathy. Oh my God, what could we do if everyone in the world was filled with empathy instead of filled with visions of fucking garbage from television and movies where some drug dealer is fucking breaking some guy's fucking head open with a baseball bat, and that's what a real man looks like. Why the fuck should I have empathy for you? All I care about is me and my money, my business. That's what a real man looks like. That's the programming. That's what they're teaching your children. Not empathy, not freedom. That's what they're teaching your children. And you know I'm right. So, don't blame it on your kids' friends. It's the government, and it's a little programming box right in your kids' bedrooms that you help put there. So, okay, I'm going to play another video because I guess everyone's too afraid to call. Is that what's happening? You're afraid to call now? I'm so afraid right now. I can't even. What is Daniel? Has Daniel inspired all of you people? All right, let's play a video then. Or not. I'm so afraid right now. I don't know if I should answer this call. I'm so afraid. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mox, how's it going?
All right, how about you?
Not bad. It's, we're getting snow up here in the Northeast. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's very pretty, right?
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I actually love it. I went to the store, and all these people were there, and I'm thinking, nobody's going to be at the store because it's storming. Snow is crazy. The roads are crazy. Everything's crazy. I went to the store, and all the people are there, all the old people too, and it's like, and I'm watching this one old lady, and I'm thinking, what the hell would she be coming to the store for in this craziness? Because usually the older women don't like to drive in this stuff, and she's asking the attendant for some weird like banal item, and I'm thinking she likes to be out in this, and that's what I think. It's nice to be out in it. It's fun. It's chaos.
It's different. It's not what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's new and exciting, and things smell different, things sound different, things look different. So yeah, I want to go enjoy that.
It's chaos and danger, because when you drive out on the roads when it's a lot of snow, it's chaos and danger, and people like that. It makes them feel alive, and they go out in it.
People do enjoy a little bit of danger.
Yeah, they don't hide. They don't run and hide. They go out in it, and I like that. I think it's cool. I think that's what makes us human. It makes you feel alive.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that make us human these days, but it would be it's the wonder. You know what I mean? It's like that's what makes life exciting, is the wonder. I always wish people, I hope you have a wonder-filled day, because it's like a lot of people just miss out on. There's like this underlying magical layer of life, and people just miss out on it. But when all of a sudden everything's covered in a blanket of white, it's kind of like, whoa, there's some magic going on, So
yeah, it is. The white snow does give magic. Like, I feed the deer when it snows, and they know it. So, like, they'll wait the whole year. Only when it snows and only when it's super cold do I go out there and bring them, like, this wonderful molasses-covered grain stuff. Right on. And they love it.
Yeah.
And they show up. They know it. They know it. Like, I'll look out my window and say, look, it's snowing, it's really cold, these deer are going to show up. And sure enough, they show up. The whole family, they got their whole thing going on.
Yeah, there is your underlying wonder that exists always, but we're kind of separated from it, I mean, that's the magic that I'm talking about. There's this like under the surface, there's this joy. I say, like, the basic fabric of life is joy, but it exists just under the surface because humans have shit everywhere they've gone. They just, everywhere they go, they shit, basically. And so you kind of got to dig through the shit a little bit, and then you go, and nobody wants to dig through the shit, so.
Yeah. Well, the deer and the birds, I feed them in the cold, and it is the spice of life. It is the magic that we can experience, and I love it. And it's the most exhilarating time of the year for us sometimes, because we get to interact with all these different species, and they actually look to us like, hey, you're our brother, you're our sister. you gave us food last time at this time, so so are you going to do it this year? And they're okay with it if you don't. But they're great with it if you do.
Yeah.
And
well, we're
cool.
really, I mean, this is, again, as I said a million times, we're the top of the food chain, so we're supposed to be protecting,
right.
we're supposed to be protecting all this. This is all like a treasure that can't be replaced. And again, instead of protecting it, we just shit everywhere we go. So,
my whole thing is the only thing I ever tell people is that, like, if you act positively towards animals, they act positively towards you. And it's an amazing experience that is extremely fulfilling to the human spirit. And it is.
I think people would be so much less sick and kind of crazy if they were, if they made nature some kind of a priority, and it's I think that's part of the way that they separate us from each other, is they separate us from nature, and it's very confusing to us to act like we're somehow, separate, because it's not true,
Yeah, that's right. And even if you take a deer, even if you feed on chickens, you can do it in a way that doesn't traumatize those species. If I just go take a chicken and bring him out of you take the chicken out of the coop and you take him to a different place, and you go in private and you take that chicken and you convert it into food, you're not traumatizing the other chickens. And if you go into the woods and you shoot a deer with a shotgun, that's traumatizing to every animal in the woods. Whereas if you take a deer with a crossbow, it doesn't traumatize all the other animals in the woods. It's a silent thing, and then you do it in the right way, and everybody has their own thing they do.
Well, look, it's all part of the big scheme. I mean, to take a deer or a chicken isn't against nature. I mean, that's part of the plan.
That's right. That's right. We eat chicken. They know we eat them. They know that. I mean, that's the first part of ignorance is humans thinking that the animals don't know that we're eating them. That's the first stage of it. But anyways, I didn't call you for that, Mox.
Mm-hmm.
But that's cool. And I know we're on that same wavelength. And but you're on to bigger and better things about Oregon becoming the first state to decriminalize.
Yeah.
Drugs? Holy shit. I mean, we were fighting for this back in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
This is not a 10 or 20 year fight that finally, and I don't know if it's going to work into something that's going to be really positive. I don't really care. What I care about is that we're going to get the statistics from that state, and whether or not, because every state is different. Every state has its own personality, but Oregon being the state that's going to decriminalize all the drugs. Now we've got a comparison to Portugal. Now we've got a comparison.
Well, no, we really don't. Unfortunately, I like where you're going with it, Dave, but it's not a comparison to Portugal, because what happens now is that the black market expands in Oregon because people can possess, and because all the surrounding areas is such a massive crime, a federal offense, that there will be a lot of people that flock to do business in Oregon. And then spread it to the states that they normally do business. So they'll go there to do their business, and unfortunately, see, if you legalize nationwide, then you have a comparison to Portugal because you end the black market. See, what you're doing now is you're just kind of making Oregon a hub, and it's not that it's unfortunate for the people. It's just unfortunate that we can't just act like fucking adults and stop acting like people have to be babysat. And look with our eyes and see that the drug war is causing a heroin epidemic. Okay? Duh.
Yeah. I agree that, but here's where I place it. Oregon going first, that's the price of going first.
Yeah.
If you're the first guy to go up and punch the bully in the mouth, well, guess what? You're gonna be there's a good chance that you might be attacked by the children who have been victimized by this bully for years because they have gotten into this thing. Yeah, so Oregon going first, yes, there's going to be a lot of, but I think that older people like us that have been doing this for many, many years, I think that we can take that into context and say, well, of course, if Oregon legalizes
the problem
drugs,
is, the problem
we're
is,
going to wait. We're not going to judge them.
The problem,
we're going to wait.
The problem is that it's not going to work that way. It's not a matter of whether we judge them or not. I'm not here to judge. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I have more important things to do to sit around judging people. The problem is the media. The media is going to judge every like on that video, that news clip that I played of Oregon decriminalizing, the very first thing they show is a dirty spoon with heroin in it and a needle. This is what decriminalization means, people. It's just such bullshit, and they're gonna push that just as hard as they can with any whatever. If the homeless population goes up 0.5%, in the middle of a plague.
And I think that a state that's legalized all drugs, this is the time for everyone to come forward. This is the time to gather the people to come forward, the people that don't say anything, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that have experienced a lot of things. They didn't become addicts. They didn't become subjugated by any of these substances. They tried them, they experimented with them, they learned about them, they gained wisdom, they gained knowledge, and they drew themselves into secluded areas of society because society doesn't want to hear any of this shit. This is the time for them to come forward. This is the time for people like us to speak up and say, look, sure, I tried coke. Sure, I tried marijuana. I never actually, personally, and I'm only speaking for myself, I didn't try heroin. I never went out and said, hey, I want to shoot up some heroin. I never did that, but I did get slipped a Mickey of heroin, and I did try, so that's my only experience with it. But this is your chance to come up and speak out to it and say, look, this shit doesn't kill you. It just makes you, if you do it too much, it makes you stupid, just like anything, like cat food. Blind people eat cat food. That's not a joke. I've actually met blind people that nobody cares for them, and they're eating cat food because that's all they have. I've actually done that. So
that's not just a blind people thing. Okay, poor people eat cat food when they don't okay, I mean, we don't want to pick on blind people or anything.
Well, right. I don't want to pick on blind people. I'm just saying that it's actually a thing where there are people doing weird things that nobody would find acceptable, but it doesn't harm them unless everybody ignores them. So the great thing about Oregon legalizing it, I think, the statistics we need to pay attention to is how much of this, of course, the first year, forget it. I don't want to see the first year. I don't want to say I don't want to see it. I don't want the first year to count for anything because we know all the addicts are going to run to Oregon like crazy, and that's fine. I don't have a problem.
I
with
don't
that.
know. I don't know that that's true. Okay, addicts are fine with the black market wherever it is. Doesn't matter Portland, doesn't matter Oregon, and most of them probably don't have the money to run to Oregon, and most of them probably don't want to get up their ass and go anywhere other than to go get another fix. So
It don't take much money to get to Oregon. I can get to Oregon
yeah, but
on-
it takes willpower to get to Oregon. And the thing about
It
those
does take willpower.
the thing about those kind of drugs is they have a tendency to sap your will.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's put it in the context that really we want to analyze what's going to happen in Oregon. And all I'm saying is the initial reaction is not what I want to be focusing on. What I want to focus on is the long-term effect of this law, because that's where I think the positive aspects of this and the proof that the war on drugs is stupid is really going to come out. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, you know, we don't need this proof. We already know it just from a standpoint of studying human behavior. But other people, the scientists and the politicians, they all want this proof in mathematical equations.
I wouldn't say
Okay.
scientists and politicians. I'd say the alcohol industry and the tobacco industry and the pharmaceutical
Yeah.
industry and the petroleum industry. They all want proof that, you know, of some fucking bullshit that doesn't exist. Okay, we have all the proof we need. You know, people don't need to be babysat. And what you get from a drug war is you get a giant black market that sends people into the shadows and creates an addiction epidemic.
Yeah, I would say now I have history in the oil industry. I've actually worked in that industry, and I'm going to say they're pretty well informed about what, you know, they don't, no laws affect the amount of drug use and alcohol abuse in the oil industry because they have like the same kind of thing that, I don't know, alphabet agencies and other people enjoy with the freedom of these things.
Oh yeah, the oil industry is full. The oil industry is full of CIA people. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
about it.
like if I was in Texas and I was looking for an 8-ball of cocaine, I think I'd probably go to the local oil derrick before I'd go to the strip club. To be honest with you, I'd find cocaine. I could find cocaine and heroin at the oil industry.
Well, you get much better cocaine and heroin at the oil fields than you would at the strip club. That's for sure.
Yeah, in the military, and not for nothing, the military, just as a general rule, every military base has outside of it, and mind you, this is always outside the base. It's just outside the base. There's always a strip club full of drugs, alcohol, and anything you could possibly want just outside the base.
Right.
So, just so we're clear, that is a normal world thing. In the Philippines, we abuse the females of that country to a bizarre level, and not that they're not accommodating and beautiful people, because they are. The Philippines has beautiful people, but the way that we treat and abuse them is horrifying. And, you know, I love the people there, but I'm just saying, the military, they know where it goes, and they always feed the military bases with strippers and drugs and alcohol. Absolutely. There's no question about this. Any military in the world.
Well, again, it's just normal behavior, and when you have people that are suffering from PTSD, it heightens that behavior. You know,
That's right.
So you know, it's just again, they criminalize being human. you know, and
That's right.
and criminalizing being human. Again, these, you know, people have done drugs forever, and it's one thing to do the drugs. Like I say, you don't have to put a penalty on doing heroin or meth, because there's a penalty that goes along with doing heroin and meth. Okay, it's already attached to it, so you don't have to worry about penalizing it. You just have to be there to catch the people when they fall and say, "Hey, do you need some help?" You know, that's all. You don't need to go, "Hey, that motherfucker needs to go to jail," because that's some bullshit right there.
That's right.
That's how you destroy people's lives instead of helping them.
That's right. That's what we need to break away from doing. And I hope that this step that Oregon has taken is a step in that direction. And I hope that, and New York, now I know you don't like the word hope. I have to be careful when I tell you, because I don't want to.
Well, you understand why I don't like it, right?
Yes, of course I do.
Okay.
Yes, of course I do. I don't like the word hope either, but I still say it. You know, I don't say the word hope.
Well, no, it's again.
Anyway.
Hope is the last disease in Pandora's box. So you don't have have the option not to say it, because there's no cure for it. It's inside of you, and there's no cure for it because it hasn't been released from Pandora's box yet. So we can't fucking cure it. And that's a big part of why I hate it, because if we could just get rid of could just get rid of the hope, then we'd know what to do, and we'd know how to do it, and we'd know what to do, and we'd do it immediately. Instead of this, hope for better tomorrow. Fuck that. Let's just make a better tomorrow. Let's start right now making a better tomorrow instead of this hope bullshit.
That's right. I don't use it in that context, because I'm always working, okay? So because I'm always working, the only time I use hope is to connect to people that are not always working. And that's when I'm talking to your audience, some of your audience, not all of them, because I know a lot of your audience are people that are always working. And that's what you see when you contact an elder in any place on this planet. If you contact an elder that's in a community and you talk to that person, and they will, one of the first things you're going to see is that they're always working. And that's the way I see you. That's the way I see me. That's what I know. That's what I do. And that's what I've seen. That's my travels. I don't come back with anything different. I would love to hear any report that sounds different. But that's
what good people do. They're always making something happen because they're good people. They have good inside of them, and they want to try and expand on it. That's all. Mm-hmm. Hey, Dave, I gotta go warm up my tea, man.
All right. Hey, listen, I wanted to also mention, I live 10 minutes from where the cops pepper sprayed the 9-year-old girl.
Uh-huh.
And my best friend for my entire life is worked with troubled youth just like that girl from our area for 25 years. And he said to me, and I called him right before I called you tonight, and I said, Dan, I want to talk to you because I want to convey what your thoughts are on what this was all about. And he said, you know what, Dave? He said, I worked 25 years with children just like her, and I'll tell you, there's one thing we never used, and that's handcuffs.
Yeah.
And he said, the other thing we never used was pepper spray. He said, I have seen children pepper sprayed, and I have seen children handcuffed, but in all the years of me working with them in our children's home, and they were working in a children's home of people that handled like tons of these children that were horribly abused, and they had all kinds of problems, and they were troubled kids. They never used handcuffs, and they never used pepper spray.
And if you handcuff an agitated person like that, they're more likely to do damage even more because
it hurts. Everybody knows it hurts. I've been handcuffed and put in a police car with your hands behind your back. It freaking hurts like a son of a bitch, especially if they clamp them on real tight. And of course, that's what they do. And the to pepper spray somebody in that position is bizarre beyond.
It's not bizarre. It's not bizarre. It's fucking clearly standard operating policy
right,
for cops.
But it's bizarre to a person that's sane.
Yeah.
Like anybody that's sane, that's ever worked with dealing with emotional people in a traumatic stress situation, it's bizarre that you would think to pull out pepper spray and pepper spray them. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? What possible good did that do? Like, nothing.
Yeah.
That did nothing.
Well, it accomplished what they wanted, was for her to submit so they could put her, lock her down. It's a horrible thing. I mean, you know what? There's no way that person was any threat to those cops, and they treated her like she was fucking a gang member. Okay, so fuck those police and fuck the police in general, because that's what their training tells them to do. All right, hey Dave, I gotta go, man.
All right, I'll see you.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. All right, that's Dave from New York. I'm going to play a video about the GameStop, and I'm going to heat up my tea, and I'm going to go check on my girl. She's looking at me weird, and I'll be right back.
It was another roller coaster day on Wall Street for GameStop. The stock took a tumble, but not before many amateur investors made a bundle. Jolene Kent explains.
Just 1 week after traders on Reddit drove the stock to the moon, GameStop shares today plunged.
A long way from $325 where it closed on Friday.
Down 31%. As Robinhood, the most downloaded app for trading, loosened but still kept some restrictions on buying the stock. Critics accuse Robinhood of hurting armchair investors, while elite traders and hedge funds have kept trading. The frenzy spurring new calls for market regulation.
It's a rigged game. It's time for the SEC to get off their duffs and do their jobs.
Meantime, some winners walked away before GameStop plunged today, like 10-year-old Jaden Carter and his mom Nina, who bought GameStop long before Reddit users got behind it as a Kwanzaa gift in 2019.
I know this kid loves video games, and at the time I was teaching him, financial literacy.
She purchased 10 shares for Jaden at just over $6 a piece. Last week, Jaden made more than $3,000 and cashed out.
What are you going to do with the money that you've made on GameStop?
I've already saved $2,200 of it.
And with confusion and outrage still growing over GameStop, we're learning tonight that Congress will hold a hearing on February 18th.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Oh man, those kids were so cute in that video about the GameStop, weren't they? They look so happy. I think I really like that story. Not particularly that news clip, but I really like that story, and I bet there's a lot of people who look very happy like those kids. A lot of young people who look very happy like those kids, and that fills my heart, don't you know? So I'm getting ready to do a bong hit. We're smoking this lovely golden goo right here. This flower rosin from my most recent garden. I think it's a blueberry kush. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, I like that last commercial. Pretty.
Oh, I love that clip. I'm never going to get tired of watching that girl, how much that girl enjoys that juice box in the park at the end of the clip. It's just like, it's exactly the marijuana experience for people who've never had it. You know, it's like you're looking, oh, how am I going to pay the bills next month? And you're looking out the window to see what scary things out there. And next thing you know, you're smelling the flowers and it's a beautiful day, you know.
and re-listening to the music you used to love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and this thing. Anyway, I'm just call me Rad. I'm calling from Oregon.
Hey, Red.
The Columbia River.
Hey, Red.
And
Good.
Where the Pacific Ocean meets the Northwest, and where the mountains meet the ocean. I'm kind of like in a hole. It feels like sometimes.
Is it raining there?
Anyway, I want to talk about the legalization. Basically, what that law did was give back the free will to the people, which they took away in the first place. So it actually gave us nothing. We just ended up right back where we should have been in the first place.
Right.
Now we have to move on from that.
It's baby steps with this freedom stuff, man. I mean, they take it away and then getting it back is just like pulling teeth every step of the way. You know, it's
There's one way I found out to fix a lot of things. And I don't know if you've ever heard of jury nullification.
Mm-hmm.
And that's jury nullification is where a jury sits on a panel, and then someone comes in, they plead not guilty, and the police and the DA and the judges and the society and the government and everybody gets on them and says, you have to vote against this person. He's guilty because of this law. And a jury nullification is the jury can go and go, you know what? I don't think that law really fits this person, so we're going to find him not guilty. The jury has more power than all those people I just spoke about. Jury nullification. So if everyone doesn't take a plea deal, but pleads not guilty in America and goes with a jury of our peers, that would be the first step of taking back control of our government.
I agree, but most people have public defenders, and public defenders say you got to take a deal, man. That being said, Red, tell me, did you go out and get your heroin today? Now that it's legal?
I want to say something about that also, because like you said, the people that are going to use it are going to use it anyway.
They're already using it. They're already using it.
It's when they legalized basically marijuana in Oregon or in Washington. You know, Oregon looked back and said, "Oh, Washington's not falling off the map. Oh, look at Colorado's not falling off the map. Maybe we should do it." So we did it, and guess what? Nothing's happened.
That is beautiful. Actually, a lot of good things has happened. A lot of jobs have been made, and a lot of people are walking around with smiles on their faces that didn't used to have smiles on their faces. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And anyway, I want to bring up an example of our paranoia where we're at in America today, and how adults are not being able to think for themselves. And one is, I went downtown today to get a movie, and then I wanted to go over to another business, which is only a block and a half away. And I looked up, being an intelligent person, I looked up and going like, wow, it's getting ready to rain here pretty soon. I better hurry.
Yeah.
So I went to a street corner, and it says wait. No cars were coming, but it says wait. And I'm going like, if I wait, I would be called by any society, any place would be stupid for standing there waiting for a rainstorm to come and rain on me. So I walked across the street against the wait sign to go take care of my business and get back to my car before it rained. And the government has made it so paranoid for us to even do something that is so, you know what I'm trying to say?
Basic,
right?
everyday thing, crossing the street.
Basic, everyday things, yeah.
Yeah, they've criminalized everything. It's just being human, just being a normal human that's able to think for yourself and go, okay, it's safe to cross the street, is now illegal.
Right, or walking the wrong way on a, let's say you got a real road. You're supposed to walk against traffic. Why is that? Well, you know, the Supreme Court has said that the police have they do not have to protect us in our daily lives.
Yeah.
And that came out, I think, when that was a Supreme Court ruling just not too long ago. I mean, if somebody else knows anything about that, let me know. I may be wrong. But when a police officer stood outside of a school when a shooting was going on inside, and he didn't rush in to help the kids, and everybody said, hey, he was supposed to go in there and risk his life. And the Supreme Court basically said, no, he doesn't have to do that. So if they don't have a right to protect us, then why should we have to follow a law saying we have to walk on one side of the road or we can't jaywalk? Because that's protecting us. It's a law to protect us. But shouldn't we have our own knowledge to say, hey, I'm not going to walk in front of that car. See? And the government has made us dependent so much upon them for little things that they've been chipping away at our freedom.
Yeah, well, like I said again and again, I mean, it's as if they've criminalized being human. They just want us to be in constant fear, you know, whether it's of the police or of each other or of the terrorist, you know. I mean, it's just constant fear, fear, fear. And that's just another way. It's like I said at the beginning. The government wants you under the thumb of the police state at every minute of every day so that you can understand that if you step out of line, they will squash you as the bug they perceive you to be.
Well, that's where jury nullification really comes
this
in.
is when you're dealing with the cops and everything, the jury nullification, you know, I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but, you know, dealing with the cops is not an easy thing. You know, I'm just, you know,
well, no, this is for
fuck you.
It's not for the suspect. It's for the jurors that are out there.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is dealing with the police state. You know, you have to deal with that before you ever get to the jury nullification.
Well,
so.
you know why I've been watching these First Amendment auditors, and a lot of them get like trespass from public property and so on. Mm-hmm. And I've watched a lot of cases, and I say, well, that cop was wrong. They're going to be sued. But it takes so long, but within 2 years, they get sued and they make money. And so that's another way of striking back, is to go ahead and plead not guilty, do your lawsuits, do your due diligence individually if you can, get as much help as you can, because we have to stop the police state. And that's the way to do it, is to stop them from infringing on our rights of freedom of press, Second Amendment rights, and our Fourth Amendment rights. And Fourth Amendment, I had just watched a special on YouTube. I'm sorry, but it may or may not be true. But a person was suing the VA. A guy was beat up at the VA, and he sued the government. And the government said, oh, well, you can't sue us. And the three officers that ended up doing something wrong could not be sued, except for a Fourth Amendment violation. And I think that we should hold the government accountable for, they should live by the same amendments and Constitution that we live by, and not hide behind any court rulings.
The government, the police, the politicians, they should not live by the same. They should be held to a higher standard. They should be made examples of every time they step out of line, in order to make sure that all their brethrens, their fellow politicians, their brothers in blue, understand that if they step out of line, we will make examples of them too.
Yes, and we need to change the law. You're saying baby steps. I think the first baby step is to be able to hold government officials responsible and accountable for any misdeeds, period.
Yeah, war profiteering in particular.
Absolutely, yep.
And it doesn't matter if it's drug war profiteering with private prisons fucking American citizens over for a drug war which they continuously vote to continue on with and keep in place instead of fighting for freedom as they vow to do, or illegal wars based on lies in places like Iraq and Somalia and Yemen and fucking Libya. You know, if they vote to keep those wars going and then they make any money off of that, off the war, they need to be made examples of in the most extreme fashion. I'm not calling for their deaths. I want them to go to prison. If you kill them, you make martyrs out of them. I want them to go to prison so that the people who come behind them know, hey, we don't want to go to prison like those guys did, you know? I think that's very important.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel the same way, that once they're held accountable, then that would all stop, and we need to figure out a way to hold our government accountable and make them work for us again. That's
well, I guarantee we got their attention at the moment.
Yes, we do. Well, you do. And then First Amendment auditors, if anybody's out there listening, these guys are going out there every single day, and they're challenging the Second Amendment. They're challenging the First Amendment, and there's lawsuit after lawsuit. And finally, other police departments are starting to watch. And now when an auditor goes up, they go, oh, that's one of those people. And what that means is they will hold us accountable. So we should be good and make sure we do everything right. And so this is the baby steps you're talking about. It is now starting to take foot. The thing that got in the way, this has been going on for 2 to 5 years. The thing that's gotten in the way is Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and our riots and getting back to our race wars and that bullshit. No. We were already moving past that by holding the government accountable through the courts, through lawsuits, and actually on every person was on the side of Black Lives Matter. If they would have said all lives matter, they would have had every white person in the world on their side. But they chose to say Black Lives Matter, and all the white people go like, wait a minute. Doesn't my life matter?
Not all the white people do that. Okay, and again, you know, if you have this thing where you need to correct the Black Lives Matter thing, you know, what you want to say is all that matters is empathy. But the facts are, Red, is that if you had empathy, you wouldn't feel the need to correct the Black Lives Matter people, would you?
Yeah, I'm not correcting them. I'm just putting out a point that I think that I would have loved to have been involved in what they were trying to achieve, which was to push back on government and to save lives through the laws and over policing of our citizens.
Yeah.
And I was all for that. But
yeah.
They made kind of a divide and a rift in what I was going along with, following these laws and lawsuits and so on.
Again, if you have the empathy of where they're coming from, you know, I mean, they have this continuous hurt for generation upon generation. You know, I mean, it's I understand what you're saying. You know, but I just think that I think that the truth is that you know, Black lives do matter, and it doesn't make any sense to try and correct that some way. You know, and it only makes sense to try and move forward with, again, standing together against a police state. You know, because
absolutely. So we need to come up with another one and say, instead of Black Lives Matter, they should form and gravitate into a higher mode, and now, you know, say like, hey, we understand a lot of people came and marched with us, so now let's say all lives matter. It's not against the whites, it's not against the police, it's just about
it is against the police. Matter. Fuck the police, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, look, again, you know, all lives matter, just like obviously Black Lives Matter. The problem is, for generations, the politicians, the police state, the people in general have acted as if they're completely oblivious to the oppression of the Black lives. So now the Black lives are saying, hey, Black Lives Matter, what the fuck? You know, I mean, it's easy to understand. You know, I understand it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And again, the people that are divided by it they're looking for a reason to be divided. You know, these people are against.
We need to get that division.
Yeah.
Put back together again.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We have to come beyond the division to recognize the common enemy.
Yeah. Anyway, for any black people out there listening to me, I'm 69 years old, and I've only talked to maybe 5 black people in my life. I just want to let you know that that's kind of shocking, but, you know, for all the black people, how many white people have you talked to in all your life? You know, we need to start talking back and forth, you know. We need to start being friendlier, not just the whites, but everybody, to start communicating, know your neighbor kind of a thing.
I say hi to everybody in my neighborhood every day. We go out, me and the dog go out and walk for 2 hours, and I personally am quite sure that I've made my neighborhood a much more friendly place by saying absolutely hello to absolutely every person. And you know what's really weird is when they don't say hello back and they act like they refuse to acknowledge you, you always know that person's something wrong with that guy, you know?
Well, I always give that person a smile anyway.
Oh yeah, like I said, I say hello and I wave, and then they act like they don't even see me. You know, like I always start laughing out loud because.
Anyway,
wow.
I like your platform there, and maybe one more thing. Even though I'm, you know, my age and you know, I'm stuck here in Astoria, Oregon.
Well, that sounds like a good place to be stuck, dude.
I'm not stuck, but. Anyway, these people, these First Amendment auditors, when they get jammed up, they have thousands of watchers, and what happens is that they'll say, call this number. And I've called a lot of police departments, even the FBI, and said, hey, you know, you got something going on that's wrong. And I feel I can tell the police departments that because I'm actually, you know, during Vietnam, I was stateside security working with the military, and I've been a deputy sheriff, deputy U.S. Marshal. I have a criminal justice degree, and so when I see things going on and I call these police departments, I'm actually helping and training and teaching these police departments what not to do, and that everyone is watching now. That's the thing right there. It's not just that police department against that one auditor. It's the police department against 25,000 auditors watching that cop do something wrong, and that's a hell of a voice. And your voice is the same thing. You're bringing out interests of individual people and problems that we're having in our society, and bringing that out to light. A lot of people know what's going on, and there has to be solutions. And one is, like I said, call the police departments, watch the First Amendment auditors, and jury nullification, and that would be baby steps to a start of starting to turn around and get our voice and our freedom back. Thank you.
All right, Red, it's good to hear from you, man.
All right, this is Rad. I'm out of here.
All right, call back anytime.
All righty, thanks.
All right, so I have more videos. I think that look. It's just basic. We just have to come together. We can't look for this to divide us, for that to divide us. When I say I say hello to everyone in my neighborhood, I say hello to everyone in my neighborhood that I see. And now they all say hello to me too. They say hello to me. They wave at me when they're driving by in their cars. When I'm places I have no idea who they are because I don't recognize their cars. You know, I mean, it's a very nice place to live. But I think this partially because I've done that. I've said hello to everybody. I wave and hey, it's another perfect Northwest afternoon is dumping rain. You know, you have a good attitude and you share it with others, and they'll share it with others too. I think so. I think it's one of the best things we can do. Is just to be friendly and have empathy, and you know, not look for things to divide us, because there's, you know, it's like you can either look at negativity, or you can, you know, find something that makes you smile, You know, and of course, I mean, I look at the negativity. I bring up the police state again and again and again. I try to point out the common enemy, but I also talk about the underlying fabric nature, the underlying fabric of this planet, of this existence, which is joy. You know, the magic, the wonder. I talk about these things every day. Today I saw 2 eagles on our walk, and what's really weird, right, is generally when you see the eagles, is there's like a dozen crows, and the crows are just like, get the fuck out of our neighborhood. They're just like dive bombing the eagles, but there was 2 of them, and I think maybe it's too dangerous for the, because they're giant, you know, and it just was like, they're just flying around in circles, you know. It was awesome, dude. It was really cool. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I am good. How are you?
All right. I did see a story about the weather. You mentioned the weather.
Uh-huh.
And according to my local paper, January of 2021 was one of the 10 wettest Januaries that's ever been recorded by the Weather Service here. That's for over 100 years.
Huh.
So it's been one of the 10 wettest winters on record. Just for the record, like, it has been raining. It isn't like a, an illusion or anything. Whether you like the rain or you don't like the rain, we've had a lot of rain.
The rain doesn't fucking care. The rain doesn't care, so you know.
But to put it in perspective to other people, to put it in perspective for other people who live around the country, we had 13 inches of rain in January here where I live, and that's the equivalent of 156 inches of snow.
Well,
so it has been raining a lot, and if you have a nice abode and a warm fire and everything, it's all cool. But if you're living more primitively, it's more challenging. So it all depends on your circumstances.
Oh yeah, it's much more challenging if you're outdoors and it's raining.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just a note.
Or
It
cold,
rain a lot.
or windy, or anything, or strangers around. Everything makes it much more difficult to be outside.
I didn't hear about that story. You mentioned about the 2 FBI agents in Florida. Just a couple of asides. My ex's dad was a special FBI agent, retired, who lives 1 town away from where those FBI agents were killed.
You're digitizing. You're digitizing a little.
Yeah. See, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. And so he lives like 1 town away from where those people were killed. He's retired, and he's very conservative. And I knew him for 3 years. We didn't get along very well because I had a lot of anti-cop sentiment. And he had also worked on anti-terrorism activities in like the 1980s, and also was around there when 9/11 happened. So that's another reason why I always know that I'm being kind of monitored in a way. And even in the course of like waiting for you on the phone, my computer crashed twice. And whenever I tried to open up a website called the Free Thought Project, all my browsers would go down automatically. This happens to me a lot, Mike, and it's happened to me a lot like since I've been like about 20 years old. So I'm pretty sure that there is a surveillance state, all right? From personal experience, I know this, but nevertheless. I did a little research real quickly after you mentioned the story, and I found an article from the Times of India, an Indian newspaper, and it was just printed an hour ago. And it said that the reason why those FBI agents were going to that house was over child pornography charges.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that in your report.
Yeah.
But,
no, it was in the story. It was in the news story that I played at the beginning of the show.
I wasn't aware of that until I read it. And then it made me think, I wonder if this is related to this, all of this QAnon bullshit. Just because, that's a central part of that story, isn't it?
I don't know.
Is that kind of what QAnon... Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
I think.
Oh,
that,
you mean
like,
the QAnon story of the QAnon dialogue is the pedophilia ring shit? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, and I don't know, they haven't released the name of the person, but I find that to be interesting in a way, and I don't, again, there'll be information and misinformation put forward by the federal government, because that's just what they do. So I don't really know. I don't really know what the outcome of that's going to be. We'll see. I mean, if we'll get more information.
Yeah. I would think that it seems like they're trying to expand on the story now, from what I'm hearing. It's very unlikely that they'll let a story about 2 FBI agents dying, being murdered, being killed on the job, slip away too quickly. And I haven't really seen the mainstream media acknowledging it very much yet. So tomorrow, I think it'll be a much bigger story tomorrow, honestly.
Well, I'm really curious to see if they link what their reason was for going to that house. I know in the past you've always mentioned about the hypothetical what if the Reddit and the camera on your phone was taking pictures of your 12-year-old girl and then using that, out in the internet as a way to blackmail you or blackmail your family or something. How would you feel about that? If your kids had their pictures taken? You talked about that a little bit, right?
Well, what I'm saying is that the government is spying on absolutely everyone's cell phone, and that it's collecting every picture your 12-year-old daughter takes with her cell phone, regardless if she sends it to anyone or not. That's how ingrained the surveillance state is. And why are they collecting information from your 12-year-old daughter and building a file on her? Because she's a potential terrorist. What, are you stupid?
Yeah. Well, I found this was the website I was trying to open up that kept killing my browser. No other website has killed my browser at all. But when I opened up links, it would kill it, and then it would kill it every time. And it was the website's the Free Thought Project, right? And they monitor police problems, like problems with the police. And this was the story. I opened it up through another venue, not through their website, and it says, 12-year-old girl finds hidden camera recording her in shower, and it belonged to a cop. And the writer's name is Matt Agoris from the Free Thought Project, and this is what he said. It was posted today. Imagine for a moment that you are a 12-year-old girl about to get in the shower, only to look up and find a camera spying on you in the bathroom. Your first thought would be likely fear, followed by anger, followed by the desire to hold the person accountable by going to the police. For one young girl in Utah, that's exactly what happened. And I can't open up the story and read any more about it, but that paragraph just reminded me of what you had been saying for a long time.
The police are, every one of you, they look at and by they, I mean the police, the politicians, they look at you like you're potential terrorist. That's why we have to spy on your 12-year-old daughter, because all of you are fucking terrorists. That's why we have to babysit you day and night with this police state, telling you what you can and can't, what ingest, because otherwise, you're gonna get too much freedom, and you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt somebody else. We have to babysit you day and night. It's horrible. Yeah. It's horrible. And I know we can do better than this. And the police state can do no wrong. That's the real problem. Is that the police state can do no wrong. They do this over and over again, and it's like, oh well, this is what we do. Fuck you. All right, next
story, which I don't think was on television, was from Blacklisted News, and it was also posted today, February 2nd. And the line is, the lead is, cops chilling suicide note calls for ending drug war, racist policing, and unity between left and right. And a police officer in Louisiana killed himself just about an hour after he posted 2 videos on YouTube, which I haven't watched yet. I think he just killed himself like yesterday. And he was an honorably discharged veteran of the Marine Corps. He was a former intelligence operator directly tasked by NSA. And this prior experience, so anyway, this person's name is Deputy Clyde Kerr III, and he committed suicide. He was according to the article, he was a good cop, and unfortunately, they say the system is set up in a way that it drives good cops from its ranks. Before going to work yesterday, Kerr recorded a video suicide note to let the world know why he killed himself. And he says, with a calm, deliberate tone, Clyde described the broken system he has been part of for nearly 2 decades. He left nothing off the table, mentioning George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayford Pellerin, who was killed in Lafayette, Louisiana, the town he lived in. Clyde described how cops can kill and face very little consequences. He then went on to call for an end to the drug war, lambasting the fact that police will kidnap, cage, and kill people for a plant. This is from his video, the countless people who are doing time for the war on drugs, how do you make amends for that? He said rhetorically. You can't. You can't. He goes on to describe how the job of policing needs to change, specifically in regards to mental health, and his death is a chilling reminder of this dire need. Quote, you have one psychological eval as a cop, and that is when they hire you, and that is not enough, he said. We need at least annual, every 6 months, or maybe quarterly. The stigma on this needs to stop. For the second half of the video, hours before he would end his own life, he lists a number of solutions that he says could fix many of the problems. He started out by saying police need better training in regards to dealing with the public. Just because the job is difficult, he says, it doesn't mean you have to be a monster. And they talk with some people who are doing like reform of criminal justice systems, specifically reform of the police, including an ex-LAPD officer, Alex Salazar. And Salazar says that suicides are not the only problem caused by this kind of like, police state mentality. On the TFTV podcast, Salazar pointed out that many police have PTSD and symptoms from the stress causes them to act out violently against citizens they are tasked with policing. And this is exactly what Clyde was talking about. Like Clyde, we want to purge this critical sickness from U.S. policing.
They all have PTSD. They all have that. We all have that in the United States. Pretty much every single person is suffering from PTSD, in case you don't know it. Not you in particular.
Oh, I do know it. Absolutely, I know it, and that's the reason why he was requesting that police officers get mental health help.
Yeah,
but
well, I think he's right. I think they should probably check in with some kind of a mental health official twice a month, just so that it's a regular thing and they can be comfortable talking to the person. And not only that, I'd really like to point out that I wish that more cops who killed themselves would do exactly this, is make this YouTube video, make a public statement explaining how fucked up the police state is. Because when it's coming from a police officer who sees no other hope left, that he's so desperately hopeless that he's going to kill himself. Because he doesn't, and you know why a person like that would kill themselves? Because they don't want to go out again another day and persecute people that just don't deserve it. And
because they feel guilt over crimes that they've committed themselves.
Yeah.
That's another reason. And what I was going to say is that it seems like it's the system itself. Like if you imagine like a template with a bunch of triangles, and then you imagine the police officer, before he's a police officer, as a circle, and then they smash that circle into the triangle form, and it's the form itself that causes these problems. So you take people, a lot of them are ex-military, and that creates its own problems, like why you would want to militarize the American police forces is weird to me, like an occupying army in the United States. I find that very strange, but police departments advertise for jobs, and they look for people who have, served in the military before. So they are taking people who have had PTSD and who have mental health issues, and then they're putting them in this triangle, this police-state triangle, and then they make it even worse. So I think the best thing a person
Yeah, they make
can
it
do
even
is
worse
not
by the cops being separate from the community. They make it even worse by making it like it's us versus them. And so of course they're going to pull their guns and kill the person. It's us versus them. If I don't get them first, they're going to get me.
Yeah, and if you've been in like Baghdad or if you've been in Afghanistan and you've been culturally conditioned to shoot anything that moves, that also kind of contributes to your warrior mentality.
For
you
sure.
know? So maybe we should stop recruiting people from the military to be police officers
And politicians.
Maybe we should hire more psychologists
also something a horrible thing that happens is that besides police, military members and members of police forces across this country are regularly elected to become politicians. You know that those people love the police state. You know they hate freedom. The last thing you want to do is elect a fucking cop to be a politician, a so-called representative. The last thing you want to do is represent a military person, a military official, a military individual to be a politician, because they have this mindset of, you know, everything's this way, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, fuck that, okay? This is about freedom, okay? Our country is about freedom, and if we don't fight for that against the horrible police state, every day it gets chipped away more and more.
Well, like I said, I don't think that they should be recruiting from the military for police officers. I would prefer that they recruit people who understand how to deal with people, like people who like are aware of like psychology and like are aware of interacting with other people in a way to de-escalate situations instead of escalate situations. You know, like in Britain for the longest time, police officers didn't even carry guns, and they still were able to do their jobs, you know, without bringing violence into the equation. Like
deadly force.
Attacked that little girl. They
Deadly
brought violence into the situation immediately.
Yeah.
You know, and in other countries, this doesn't fucking happen. It seems to be like an American freedom thing where we fucking like abuse our people many more times than people do in other countries. So maybe we should like disarm the police and also have people who work for police departments who aren't ex-military intelligence, aren't people who were cops in Iraq and Afghanistan, and aren't people who have a warrior mentality. You know? That's fucking part of the problem.
Right. They need they're to be public servants, and that's how they should always act. Instead of hoorah, let's go fucking kick ass. Yeah.
Kick ass, man. And there's a lot of films about how people in their first 8 weeks of boot camp are broken, so that they like just become, they'll do whatever their sergeant is supposed to tell them to do, because that's what the Army wants. It's broken people who follow orders.
And that's why and that's why the last thing you want is a politician being a former military personnel, because that's what they do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And they're in both parties. I know that there's something like between 10 and 15 members of Congress right now, and many of them are Democrats who are ex-CIA agents, right?
Yeah.
They belong to the Central Intelligence Agency, and used that in their campaign.
Yeah.
Like, I worked for intelligence, so you should hire me. So I mean, I don't know what's wrong with America, like why Americans would vote for those people, but they have, and they are aware of their backgrounds and vote for them anyway, which is, you know, maybe a problem of education. Maybe that's a problem of people being unaware of the crimes of the Central Intelligence Agency and of military police, because they don't hear them, you know? And when they do hear them,
they're programmed to worship these people. They're programmed to worship. Oh, thank you so much for your service. You're such a special human being.
Didn't help matters either. By pardoning those military people who were like torturing people in Iraq, did that recently, you know, in the last month. So basically, when Donald Trump did that, all of his supporters who worship him, right, have their negative thoughts reinforced that, oh yeah, military cops are good, military good, you know, because Donald Trump good. So we got to get out of this simplistic thinking and start looking at what these people actually fucking do, and that's a result of education. And unfortunately, that's going to become more challenging in this time of censorship, where when people are critical of the government or they're critical of these institutions in the government, they just get their voices censored, like the Free Thought Project. There was another story, and this was kind of weird. This was from Blacklisted News, and it says the New York Times is calling for Joe Biden to appoint a, quote, reality czar to fight misinformation. And this is interesting, right? Because we, as a culture, we tend to look at, if there's a problem, we're going to have a war on that problem, right? So a war on drugs, war on terrorism, war. So now, literally, we're going to have a war on information.
Right.
With a reality czar, a czar that oversees what people can and can't see.
What they can and can't say.
See, or be aware of, or learn about.
Well, they can't say it either, because if the people aren't allowed to hear what you're saying, then you're not allowed to say it, basically. If you stand on your soapbox...
Basically, it's going to chill speech. It'll chill speech in addition to just straight up removing speech.
Right.
It'll do both. So from this article, it says, Blacklisted News, Times calls for Biden, the czar of information. In an article entitled How the Biden Administration Can Help Solve Our Reality Crisis, the New York Times' Kevin Roose cites experts who are calling on the Biden administration to put together a cross-agency task force to tackle disinformation and domestic extremism, which would be led by something like a reality czar. The job of this reality czar would be to head up a centralized task force that could coordinate a single strategic response to things like COVID-related and election fraud, quote, conspiracy theories. Remember, conspiracy theories is a term that was created in 1967 by the Central Intelligence Agency. Quote, this task force could also meet regularly with tech platforms and push for structural changes that could help these companies tackle their own extremism and misinformation problems.
Yeah.
For example, it could formulate safe harbor exemptions that would allow platforms to share data about QAnon and other conspiracy theory communities with researchers and government agencies without running afoul of privacy laws. So they can just gather all this information from all these different platforms and go to a special place where experts get to start monitoring citizens who have dissident thought. And this is right out of 1984. In the book 1984, it was called The Ministry of Truth. All right? And this is where we're at.
Yeah.
It is this thing about we're free. I don't know how free we are.
Well, you have the option.
To kind of color outside the...
You have the option. You can fight for freedom. There is freedom that still exists, and you still have the chance to fight for it, but you have to make the decision clearly within yourself. Do you stand on the side of freedom, or do you stand with the police state? Because those are the only options at this point.
Well, in the future, you might have only the option to not participate on media platforms. That might be the only option you have in the future, and that's the point of this. It's there aren't going to be any options when you can't use these platforms anymore.
We didn't have those platforms before, and there were plenty of options. Okay, so there are options.
Plenty of options?
Well, yes, we had giant fucking anti-war rallies. We went and protested the police long before there was ever internet.
Yeah, and those anti-war rallies ended about the same time everybody got a cell phone in their pocket.
Those anti-war rallies ended when Obama took office. That's when they fucking ended.
They did end, and everybody had a cell phone in their pocket about 3 or 4 years. I mean like a cell phone with a camera and with a computer. They all had those devices in their hands just a few years before that. And now it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. So I don't know, how effective. I agree with you. I demonstrated against war, and the last time I demonstrated against war was in 2010 when Obama was president, and he was threatening to bomb Syria. I went out in the streets. So, I mean, I'm very familiar with the anti-war movement, but I think there's a myriad of reasons why people aren't organizing.
I think
And
Occupy.
social
I
media
think
is one of those
Occupy.
reasons.
I think Occupy was a lot of anti-war people also.
There were anti-war people in Occupy, and although it focused on economic issues, but those people also. I mean, Occupy also was heavily infiltrated by the FBI.
Well, economic
whatever.
issues are very much tied to the war machine too. So
Yes,
yeah,
they are, and that was 10 years ago. Mike.
Yeah, right.
That was 10 years
That's what I'm
ago.
saying. So
even with Trump, they didn't go in the streets. So they didn't go in the streets when Obama was president, but when Trump was president, they still could have went into the streets over issues.
They did go into the streets. It did go into the streets. Occupy was during Obama, the most liberal president of all time, who said, if you go into the streets, I'll be standing there right there shoulder to shoulder with you. He labeled those people domestic terrorists and sent in the fucking cops to bloody their brains as if they were domestic terrorists. That's who Obama was.
People didn't go in the streets when Trump was president, is what I said, Mike.
Yeah. Okay.
So the fact that a Democrat was president did kind of put the damper on anti-war movements, but they didn't. There wasn't a resurgence of, say, let's call it a pro-peace movement. All right, when Trump became president either. So the Democrats chose not to use war as an issue to go in the streets. They did when George Bush was president. So the anti-war movement was very politicized. And after Obama became president, of course, they didn't go in the streets. But when Trump became president, they didn't go in the streets either. When he was bombing Syria and when he killed an Iranian general and ramped up the risk of war with Iran, people did not go in the streets.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So this, again, a lot of people have been conditioned to just accept war as a reality, and I don't see that changing in the next 4 years with this administration at all.
No,
in fact,
but
I don't even think you're going to be able to talk about these issues on the internet anymore without having your speech censored.
Well, that's what I was
before,
saying.
Before the internet, people used newsletters, and they used mail, Before the electronic age, people communicated by newspapers and magazines and newsletters.
And phones.
Those newsletters those organizations were infiltrated by the FBI before the internet.
Yeah, the police state is long before the internet, Hey, Chris, I got to take a break. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah,
Thanks for all your input, man. I really appreciate it. It definitely expands the conversation. So,
okay, thanks so much.
I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Have a good night. Peace.
You too. Bye. That's our buddy Chris from Olympia. I'm going to play a quick video for you. Got to heat up my tea one more time. I will be back just a moment. And then we'll have a bong hit. How's that sound?
There is some serious crazy coming out of Fox primetime these days, but before we talk about it, some context. Ever since former President Donald Trump soured on the network for accurately reporting the outcome of the election, ratings have taken a major hit. Primetime ratings down 25%, and as Fox viewers have headed over to ultra right-wing conspiracy theorist networks like OAN and Newsmax, one Fox host who has been manning the exits is imploring viewers to stay by giving them exactly what they want. And last night, boy, did he deliver, making a claim guaranteed to get some notice, like a toddler banging their head against the wall to get attention. As House Republicans try to figure out what to do with the newcomer to their conspiracy caucus, Tucker Carlson defended Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, so how dangerous, just how dangerous is this three-named congresswoman you probably have never heard of? Well, so dangerous that in the name of democracy, she must be expelled tonight from the Congress. That's what they're saying. In the new democracy, CNN gets the veto. If cable news doesn't like your views, you have to leave Congress. That's the rule. The test is entirely ideological. You don't actually have to harm anyone to lose your job. This new member of Congress has barely even voted. She just got there the other day. But CNN says she has bad opinions, therefore she's the greatest threat we face.
Opinions. That's what he calls the following claims that Rep. Taylor Greene has made, that she pushed QAnon quackery, that Trump was the leader who would take out a satanic pedophile cult in government and Hollywood. She's a 9/11 truther. She questioned the attack at the Pentagon, saying, quote, there's never any evidence shown for a plane, unquote, going into it. She's confronted a Parkland survivor, a survivor of one of the biggest mass school shootings in U.S. history, after questioning whether the attack was actually a false flag operation carried out to mobilize people against gun rights, a claim that she walked back last night in an interview.
These are not red flag incidences. They are not fake, and it's terrible, the loss that these families go through and their friends as well, and it should never happen. And it doesn't have to happen if we would protect our children properly.
Before joining Congress, she appeared to endorse the execution of Speaker Pelosi and other Democrats. She suggested that the 2018 midterms, where the first 2 Muslim women in Congress were elected, were part of a, quote, Islamic invasion of our government. She's called Jewish Democratic donor George Soros a Nazi. She falsely claimed former President Barack Obama is a Muslim. And she also suggested that Obama and Democrats were coordinating a war to overthrow Trump. Now, those aren't opinions, Tucker. They are lies, unfounded and absurd conspiracy theories. And his claim that Marjorie Taylor Greene's opinions haven't harmed anyone, tell that to the families of victims killed in these school shootings that the Congresswoman has questioned, like Linda Beagle-Schulman, the mother of a teacher who was killed in the Parkland shooting as he held open a door to help students escape the shooter, who spoke with us yesterday about confronting the Congresswoman over her false claims about the shooting this past weekend.
February 14th is a really hard day. So, you know what? I do say to Marjorie Taylor Greene, please, you know what? Find your conscience. You're a mother. Man up or woman up, whatever you want to say, and tell the truth. Tell everybody what you told me.
It is curious whose opinions Tucker Carlson chooses to defend. Rep. Taylor Greene's are fine, but when Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, one of the first Muslim women elected to Congress, criticized the United States over its immigration policies, he said this.
She has undisguised contempt for the United States and for its people. That should worry you, and not just because Omar is now a sitting member of Congress. Ilhan Omar is living proof that the way we practice immigration has become dangerous to this country. A system designed to strengthen America is instead undermining it. Maybe we're importing people from places whose values are simply antithetical to ours. After everything America has done for Omar and for her family, she hates this country more than ever.
And when Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Asian American Purple Heart recipient who lost her legs in Iraq while co-piloting a chopper, said she was open to a debate about removing statues honoring historical figures like George Washington because they enslaved black people, he said this.
But when Duckworth does speak in public, you're reminded what a deeply silly and unimpressive person she is. But to morons like Tammy Duckworth, Washington is just some old white guy who needs to be erased. Tammy Duckworth is not a child, at least not technically. She is a sitting United States senator who is often described as a hero. Yet Duckworth is too afraid to defend her own statements on a cable TV show. What a coward.
Now, the of the First Amendment. So let's just remember that as Tucker Carlson sets out on his latest sad quest for relevancy, even his own employer, the corporation that writes his checks, says he's full of it. Just a short time from now,
All right, there's my boo-boo bear. Hey, buddy. Boo-boo. Boo-boo bear. There's my beautiful baby. You are. He decided to join us for a minute. Everything's better with Boo Bears. Okay. So I wanted to play that clip for you because Chris was talking about censorship and all these things. And again, I wanted to show that these people hate freedom of speech. Chris was talking about the reality czar, right? And they hate freedom of speech. They hate your freedom. I can't believe how threatened these people seem to be by your freedom. It's like They see it as a personal threat to them. The politicians, the news people. What's up, caller?
Max the Fox, what's up?
I'm doing this thing that I do.
You betcha, doing a great job. You know, like, I was listening to your show back when them riots were happening, and I was pleasantly surprised to see you stick up for those, I don't know, the Capitol Hill protests, whatever you want to call it. They stormed the Capitol. I thought you were going to crap on them and say, oh, what a bunch of lunatics, this and that. But you said, no, they're freaking fighting against a corrupt government system, this and that. And I got to say, you keep it even. You side with the protesters, it don't matter which side. And that I respect, you know what I mean?
The protesters, people, the first thing they try to do with the protesters is they label them this. Like with the Occupy protesters, first it was they're public fornicators, they're public defecators, they're drug users. With the Capitol Hill rioters, the first thing was they're anarchists. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Those people ain't anarchists. They're anarchists, and they were insurrectionists, then they were domestic terrorists, then they were pro-Trump supporters. It's like they put these labels on them. And what they are is Americans, you know, Americans doing what in the proud American tradition, going into the street and demanding that their representative governments hear their voices. That's who they are. And everyone should be proud of them, and everyone should stick up for them.
100%. And it's just the hypocrisy of all the media members. Everyone saying, oh, the way they condemned it, saying that these are insurrectionists and domestic terrorist, but when you had freaking summer of destruction happening, all that stuff happening with the Black Lives Matter and Antifa, there was peaceful protests and this and that. It's just ridiculous, the hypocrisy.
Well, it's really not true. Like I said, they do this to all the protesters. Remember the CHOP in Seattle? You know, those people were, again, insurrectionists who kicked the police out, and there was just crime running rampant in the CHOP, and it was this horrible thing, as opposed to, that's how the media portrayed those people. So it's not just that they're on the side of liberals, they hate freedom, dude. And that's why I treat it all the same, is because if you buy into the programming, it's like this thing I say about politicians. They're the same. They're just talking to different suckers. Right? And so if you buy into the programming, then that's the divide. That's what they're programmed to divide. And if you just go, hey, no, these are Americans. What the fuck? These are Americans in the street. Again, in the proud American tradition of standing up against a government that they perceive as criminal and demanding change. The change they were promised.
Yeah, I could see, I don't know, the media really came down on those, at the Capitol Hill thing. It seemed like it was like, oh my gosh.
Well, they saw a chance. They saw a chance to pin another thing on Trump. So immediately these were evil domestic terrorists. I can't believe that they call Americans domestic terrorists, dude. I just can't believe they do that.
Yeah, I think the reason is they were a little bit harder on them, or a lot harder, in my opinion, than the protester in the summer. I think it's because they wanted it to hurt Trump. They thought the protest would hurt Trump.
Yeah.
That's why they were so, they were kind of condoning it, defending it. Oh, it's mostly peaceful. Oh, they're standing up for the minority rights, blah, blah, blah. I think that's what it comes down to. And now that...
Well, I think that they're really afraid to come down on the wrong side of the Black Lives Matter thing, because that could cost them a huge part of their viewership. So, you know what I'm saying about that, right? And they could be labeled racist. But again, that's what I was saying about you said that they acted like they could use that against Trump. Well, the real thing they wanted to use against Trump was the protest on January 6th, and that's why it was immediately this insurrection, domestic terrorists fighting our government, because then they knew that they could nail Trump with that. The Black Lives Matter thing, I think that was just like Trump acted like an idiot when it came to that. You know, he's like, oh, he again acted like those people aren't Americans with the right to petition their governments, to hear their voices. You know, it's really strange the way that people just buy into the division, because it doesn't exist unless you buy into it.
You know what? Now that everyone's opening back up in regards to this COVID stuff, now that Trump got out of office, how convenient.
Well, not yet.
Everything's falling into plan.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. I mean, something big is in the works. You can see it with Washington, D.C. in a martial law lockdown that hasn't ended, and they want to extend and extend and extend. Because it works for them, you know, they're protected now. They can do whatever, they can pass whatever shitty laws they want to pass, you know, Patriot Act 2.0, and just fuck us, the rest of the world. You know, start saying, oh, well, you can't question what happened on September 11th. You can't question Israel. Whatever Israel does is fucking golden. You know, I mean, you know, that's how all the politicians are. Doesn't matter if they're so-called left or so-called right. Again, just speaking to different suckers, dude. They're the same fucking shit.
Yep, I know. I mean, what are the people going to do now that Trump's out of office? That was like 90% of their lives, their talking points, a lot of these people.
It was 90% of their talking points. 90%.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they was Orange Man bad, and oh my gosh, he's literally Hitler, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think, I don't know what they're going to talk about. What's their life going to be like now that they can't pinpoint everything on the Orange Man?
Well, they're gonna, you know, I mean, they have their fear thing. It's just always fear. It doesn't matter what it is. It's, you know, it was fear the Orange Man. The Orange Man's gonna fuck everything. It's fear the COVID, fear the terrorists, fear everything. So whatever it is, you can count on it to be just a fear shit. So.
You know what it is? It's going to be white supremacy.
Well, they've been working on that for sure.
They're gonna harbor on that, saying, "Oh, we're fighting against this, the evil that is white supremacy," and you know how they go with that. You already see it, but they labeled that riot, the Capitol Hill stuff. Oh, they're all a bunch of white supremacists. Like, what in the world are you guys talking about? But
yeah, right. It's a bunch of fucking police officers and veterans and shit. Oh, they're all white supremacists. Well, then we should fucking be cleaning up the military and the police departments, shouldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, there was this MMA announcer. He went down to the protest, and he got fired just for being there.
Yeah.
He lost his commentating job just for being there. He didn't even storm the Capitol or enter the building. Just craziness. What are you going to do?
The media is really fucked up job to have, and you know, if you step out of line, there's somebody waiting to take your position all the way. So, and they can't wait to, you know, knock you down a notch if you step out of line. Look, I tried to work with some of these mainstream media people, and they they found out I don't play well. I don't play their game. I'm not here to play. I'm not fucking playing journalism. You know, I come out here, I'm trying to get people's attention and say, look at this. This is genuinely important. Not some fucking fear bullshit. You know? This is the enemy. This is the enemy. The enemy is the government. It's the only real threat to your fucking freedom. It's the only real threat to your wallet. You know, and if we could just come together and move beyond this petty bullshit divides that don't really exist unless we buy into them, we have all the power. We can make anything happen we want on this planet, including taking our government back from the current fucking, you know, war profiteering criminals.
From Zog, Zionist occupied government. I got one last point to make before I head out. I want to get your thoughts on the this GameStop stuff, because man, the stocks. Oh, it's the ultimate David versus Goliath. And I just there were some of the reactions. Oh, you're gonna, these people are gonna cause a depression or blah blah blah. Oh no, all the super rich hedge fund scam artists are getting scammed by the little guy, and now they're out throwing a fit.
Yeah.
And it really exposes people the way they talk about it, because the people that defend the hedge fund billionaires, and they condemn these Redditor people.
Yeah.
It exposes them.
Did you see the video I played earlier? It had two little kids on it that made like a little under $10,000 each. They made thousands and thousands of dollars off of tiny investments, and they were like 12 years old. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck the rich people. I mean, look at, because we beat you at your bullshit game. I think, in my opinion, shorting a stock should not be an option on Wall Street. I think that's a bullshit bet. Go if you want to make bullshit bets like that, go to the casino. There's plenty of them there.
Yeah, they've been manipulating the system for decades, and now they get a taste of their own medicine, and it's a big problem, and we gotta regulate and blah, blah, blah. Bunch of bullshit, as usual. I'll leave it to it, Mox. Take it easy.
All right, bro. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
And again, that's one of the things that I encourage the most, is that when you see the people in the street, they're Americans. They're brave Americans standing up against the police state in the proud American tradition of going into the street and demanding that their representative, so-called representative government, hear their voices. And give us a better fucking life than this, because we don't like your police state. We want our freedom back. Stop. We don't need to be babysat every second of every day. We don't need to be under the thumb of the police state every second of every day, waiting to be squashed by them. That's just, how repressive is that? How repressive is that to our species, to our country, to your children? If we can't do better than that, then we are the Stasi. We are the SS. We are the Hitler's forces, because we're just a giant police state. At best, over criminalizing all of our citizens, and hurting. I mean, again, at a basic level, having this never-ending fucking sword of Damocles hanging over your head, waiting to fucking fall and chop off your neck. Okay, that's where we exist in this country. Every minute of every day. The police state can kick in your door, doesn't matter. We see them do it to the wrong people's homes and then shoot and kill the people in the homes. Breonna Taylor. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello!
Hello.
What's up, Jay?
This is Rodney.
Okay.
My name's Rodney.
Uh-huh.
My name is Rodney.
Uh-huh.
I just want to let you know my name is Rodney. Okay, my name is Rodney.
All right, thanks for letting us know that, Rodney. Call back soon.
No, I'm still here.
Oh. Are you?
I didn't just need to let you know that my name is Rodney, that I got to get off the line here currently, sir. I just wanted to let you know that my name is Rodney. Okay.
Uh-huh.
What is your name?
Moxie.
Your name is Socks. Soxy.
Sure, that's my name.
Sure is your name.
Okay, are you done, Rodney, or do you have something to contribute to the show?
I'm here. I am here.
Okay, do you have something to contribute to the show? Or are you just going to talk real slow, like every word is just so important? Make sure to get that word right.
I have a lot of fucking stuff to talk about currently.
Well, let's get to it.
This is Rodney Dangerfield, and I'd like you to fucking,
you don't sound
chill
anything like Rodney Dangerfield. You don't sound anything like Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah. This is him.
No,
Right,
because
currently.
he'd be talking about how he doesn't get any respect when he calls my show. Duh.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to fucking say. God dang it.
Don't get any respect.
You see there? You see
I don't
there?
get any
said
respect.
dang it. I didn't even cuss then.
No one
Sons of
cares.
Bitches, these fuckers.
You have something to say, Rodney?
You know what? I ain't getting no unemployment currently. You know why? Because the goddamn website's fucked up, and then people are out there on the Facebook fucking just telling everybody who works over there at the goddamn unemployment office how much they are a giant piece of shit. And you know what? I don't think that's really helping anything, but I could be wrong because everybody over there on the Facebook page that probably should be, banned from Facebook, they're over there just saying, like, we need to get the guillotines for everybody that works over there at the goddamn unemployment office. We need to pull the guillotines over there with the trucks, and we need to pull everybody that, like,
yeah, okay, we don't need that, Rodney. Look at the unemployment people are just doing a job, okay? The problem is the problem is the politicians. The politicians don't give a fuck about us. All right, nice to hear from you, Rodney. The politicians don't give a fuck about us, okay? The politicians don't want you to be able to make it. They want you desperate. They want you in fear. How are we going to get through this month? We don't know. I don't know how we're going to get food on the table this month. Okay? The politicians want you in constant fear. They could separate out this fucking bullshit COVID stimulus garbage and go, okay, we're just going to approve the part for the people and make sure the people, the individuals who really need some help right now are getting that help. And instead they're fighting about all this other bullshit. Okay? Get the people the help. I don't give a shit about the corporations. I don't give a shit about all this other crap you want to do. And I'm not going to get a fucking check from you. But I care about the people. Who the fuck do the politicians care about? Because it certainly isn't the people. They'll sit up there and they'll talk to you suckers. They'll say everything you want to fucking hear, but they're not doing crap. They're not doing shit to help you. Okay? They're all the fucking same. And it'd be like, oh, the Democrats are trying to. No, they're not. They know exactly. Again, all they have to do is pull the stimulus part out for the people, the checks, the individual checks that the people are going to get, and then they put that up for a vote, and if the Republicans want to go, oh, we're outraged by the people getting $2,000 check, well, then we'll all know who the Republicans are, won't we? But when they got all this convoluted bullshit in their multi-trillion-dollar fucking garbage bill, where they're going to bail out all their fucking wealthy donors, then yeah, it's easy to fucking go, oh, look, this is so messed up. We can't fucking, because of this. And you can point to a million different things that's messed up about it instead of just going, let's get some money to the people. Again, this is something the politicians, the Democrats are in charge. They could be making that happen. They're choosing not to and then lying to you about it and saying, no, it's the Republicans that won't let us make shit happen. No, it's your bullshit asses and you're working together to fuck the people of this country, and we deserve better. Hello, caller.
What's up, Moxie? How are you doing?
I'm on fire. How are you?
I know. I hear that. This is Tampa Rob. I called you last night.
Hey, Rob. It's good to hear from you, man. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I just wanted to call you because of this Marjorie Taylor Greene chick. Like, what the fuck is her problem, bro?
What do you mean?
Like her saying 9/11 never fucking happened.
No, she
like,
said
bro,
there's no evidence that a plane hit the Pentagon on 9/11. That's what she said.
Oh, well, we really don't know.
Right.
You know,
We
it
don't
could've
know.
been
We
it
could
could've
know.
been-
We could know, but there's no evidence, is there? We haven't been presented with
No.
evidence. There's thousands of fucking videotapes of it happening, but we haven't seen a single one. So there is no evidence. So I don't know. What is this Marjorie Greene's problem? The truth?
She's
Is that her problem?
Bitch. No, she's a stupid bitch.
She's calling out the fucking Pentagon on bullshit, and she's a stupid bitch. She's calling out the lies of our entire government, every single sitting member of Congress.
What about this one? What about this one, Moxie? What about
And
this
she's
one?
a stupid bitch.
JFK's junior plane crashed because of Bill Clinton.
I look again. It's above my
Really?
pay job. It's above my pay grade on that. Okay, I don't
That
know.
didn't
I don't
happen.
know. I don't know what does happen or doesn't happen. But I don't know. I don't know what happened on September 11th. But what I can tell you for sure is this piece of shit government is lying to us about it. That I know for a fact. Okay, and
You know
she's
what?
calling them out on their lies. What is the problem?
I just think, like we discussed last night, they're all corrupt. No
Yeah.
matter who.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
She's got to go. Her actions spoke her words. The GOP Republicans are finally seeing
What?
that.
Wait. What is
You
her?
know, they're
What is her
the
actions?
GOP
What is her?
members.
What is it that makes her have to go? You tell me specifically. You started off with 9/11, and I corrected you on that. So what now is it that makes it so she?
The Parkland
Okay.
shooting. She called that a hoax. What? We all saw that on TV.
We saw what?
You know
What
what
did
I
we
mean?
see on TV?
We saw the shooting go down. We saw the
No,
cops
we
at
didn't see the shooting
school.
go down. We did not see that. That's not
You
true.
know,
We did not
they
see
showed
that.
the body cam
Yeah, no, they didn't.
of
They
these
didn't.
officers.
No, we didn't see
And
video.
you know what?
Mhm.
And you know, no, we didn't see anybody get
There
killed.
was no body camera from the fucking cops, okay? The cops got there, again, when seconds matter, there's a cop outside, he fucking did nothing. The cops get there, and the shooter's already gone, and then they track down this kid in a fucking, the shooter's dressed in head to toe in black with helmets, fucking looks like a professional fucking killer. Okay, and then they track down this kid who's some fucking outsider, blah blah, and they stick him with this fucking thing, and there was you're saying you're saying we all saw the police. No, you're saying we all. Hey, Rob, you're saying we all saw the police body camera. There was none. Okay, so we didn't see that. So again, you're talking out your ass just like you did about 9/11.
The fact still remains that there was a shooting. Is there? Would I be correct about that one?
I again don't know what happened. There's some very odd things that go on with these shootings when it comes to details, like the Las Vegas shooting. She called out that, like the Sandy Hook thing. Okay, she called out that. There's very odd things that go down with these shootings. Okay, and they never seem to get answered, and it doesn't seem to even matter that there's all these questions. It's just like, oh, move on.
Well,
of course that was real.
Well, I mean, we did hear the gunshots that happened in Las Vegas.
And I have eyewitness reports fucking 10 minutes after the shooting posted on this YouTube page of people saying there was a helicopter circling and shooting people. There was gunfire coming from the helicopter.
Those are just conspiracy theories.
Those were people that were at the fucking concert that just got shot up. 10 minutes later.
Maybe they thought it was the helicopter. They have helicopters hovering events like that all the time, even if they are outside.
So who cares what the eyewitness events? Who cares what the eyewitnesses have to say?
That's what I'm saying.
Right, the eyewitnesses don't matter whatsoever.
You know, and that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene is throwing out there.
Right, okay, right. She's a
theories.
cult. You forgot the part where she's part of the cult of QAnon and blah, blah, blah. Look, dude, how much fucking CNN do you watch a day?
I watch a lot of it.
Okay, because
Like a lot.
I'm telling you, you're being misled
yet
by them.
But
And it's
yet,
not.
I do watch Fox News, and Fox News, what's funny about this is that the GOP Republicans and even the House Republicans are coming out now and saying what she said wasn't really all that nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you got these
The
people
truth
on
is
Fox
fucking
News
hard to deal
like
with.
Sean fucking Hannity, who wants to be up Trump's ass, just like this Marjorie Taylor Greene is up Trump's ass.
Fuck Donald Trump. I hate Donald Trump. Okay,
You
look,
know,
I don't
that's
care about.
something we both
And
can
again,
agree on.
from what I understand, this Marjorie Greene, the Congresswoman Greene, is being set up in order to again install this ministry of truth. You know, so that we can all agree, oh, look at this crazy person in Congress saying stuff about 9/11, saying stuff about a hoax at a shooting, saying stuff about the Las Vegas. This person's crazy. You know, they're going to get this on the books as like law. If you say anything about 9/11 truth, about a plane not hitting the Pentagon, you're a crazy person and we can now medicate you. That's what this Marjorie Greene person is all about. And you're buying into it wholeheartedly, so you know.
Well, she's stupid. Can't we just agree with that? Except for all the Fox News personnel who want to believe that she's telling the truth.
Look,
When
I don't
really,
think
like
they
you
want
just
to.
said, we
Look
don't know
I don't
actually
think
what
they
happened.
want to believe that she's telling the truth. What they want to believe is that she has the right to say these things. Okay? Do you want to take away the right of freedom of speech?
I want to tell the truth. I don't want no conspiracy theories. I just, you know what?
Okay, do you believe a plane? Do you believe a plane? Do you believe a plane hit the Pentagon on September 11th, 2001?
To be quite honest with you, the video camera that they showed was bit by bit by bit, you know, piece by piece by piece.
10 years later,
Honestly,
the video they showed 10 years later.
It did not look like a plane to me.
The video they
Right
showed
then and
10
there.
years later, the only video they've ever shown, 10 years after the event. That was the best video they could come up with to prove that a plane hit the Pentagon. Okay, this person that you're speaking out against spoke out and said there is no evidence a plane hit the Pentagon on September 11th. That takes a lot of guts, okay? You can call her a crazy person. Well, you are. You're calling her a crazy person. You're saying that they have to shut this person up because she's spewing conspiracy theories everywhere.
Conspiracy theories. Yes.
Right. What, did a plane...
She doesn't know. Why is she coming out and saying all of this
Because
stuff?
we have the
She
freedom to
doesn't
do
even
that.
know it's bit-
We have the freedom to do that. And critical thinking people will be like, hey, there's no way a plane made that kind of maneuver. A giant passenger plane, like they said, made that kind of maneuver and then flew 10 feet off the ground for 150 yards to slam into the fucking Pentagon. There's by two inexperienced pilots, there's no motherfucking way that happened. Okay, so you know, you want to make it so you want to make it so that those people can't question that anymore by using this term again and again and again. Conspiracy theories. Stop buying into it. That's a bullshit term that they're using. CNN, Fox News, they all use it in order to shut down discussion that they don't like, that they don't want to discuss.
If she would have came at it a little differently, like, let's say, I think, instead of what she did say.
What she said is there's no evidence a plane, okay, that's the same thing. She didn't say it didn't happen. She said there's no evidence been presented that a plane hit the Pentagon on September 11th. That's the fact.
Well, that can
There's
be
no
taken
evidence presented.
several.
And every
That can
single
be taken
and every
several
single
different ways.
sitting member of Congress fucking towed the line and said, "Oh my God, why are you spouting these conspiracy theories about September 11th?"
That's exactly what it is.
And
for her, conspiracy theory.
yeah, well, wouldn't you like to have a couple more members of Congress questioning the events of September 11th?
I mean, I think we all know the question to that.
No, we don't. We don't know. You're trying to. We know what we know is that you're trying to shut down free speech by using the term conspiracy theory and saying, "Yeah, nobody should be talking about that because it's unproven. Nobody knows."
I didn't say it first though.
It doesn't matter if you said it first. What matters is if you fucking support the idea behind it. Okay? And that's what you're doing. You're saying, "Oh, this person's..." You just keep throwing labels out, trying to get what sticks. Oh, it's conspiracy theorist and you know, a Trump supporter and you know, a crazy person. Look I would really like to have more members of Congress questioning the events of September 11th. I'd like to see another investigation into the events of September 11th. Okay?
Yeah, but we all know that that's not going to happen.
We don't know that that's not going to happen.
It's a boom bang shutdown case.
So we just give up. Give up. Is that right? We just give up and the evil motherfuckers win. The evil motherfuckers that are lying to us about September 11th win.
We already know what to do the next time.
What do
you know what I mean? I believe that we've learned.
Learned what?
But our government, learned
the phrase conspiracy theories?
Not to trust the government.
Oh, well, then now you're talking conspiracy theories, dude. Learn not to trust. Don't trust the government. That's a conspiracy theory if I ever heard one.
No, we all know that, though. Everybody knows that.
Well, that's what this person keeps telling you, this Congresswoman Green. The government's not to be trusted, and then you call her a conspiracy theorist. And you say she should be shut up.
All I'm saying is that, you know, these bullshit lies. Bullshit. Just like yesterday, you know, when we were talking about Trump. Since day one, lies. Here comes a rookie congresswoman. What does she do? She sprouts out some lies. I don't know if they're all, you know, just like, you know, the Pentagon, because there's two things that are coming out of this. One, it was a plane. And two, it was a cruise missile.
Look.
So, you know, like you said, how can a plane get that low to the ground without the belly hitting the fucking ground? In my opinion, I think it's a cruise missile. Cruise missile was what hit the fucking Pentagon.
Now you're spouting conspiracy theories, okay? What I said is that I don't know what happened on that day. But the one thing that I'm sure of that's happened is that the government is lying about what happened on that day. Okay? That's what I know for a fact. I've seen it happen again and again. So when someone, I would like, you know, Ron Paul made a speech on the floor of the House of Representatives. This crazy person, Green, hasn't said anything on the floor, but Ron Paul stood on the floor and said, he made a speech called "What If?" You should look it up. And he said, it begins by the first line of it is, "What if the government is lying to you about September 11th, the events of September 11th, okay? So, you know, and why? Because that's what free speech is. That's why we have free speech, so that we can question our government, so that we can speak truth to authority. That's what our free speech is all about. Not, oh, I'm this person. No one cares who you fucking are. Speak truth to authority. Stand up. That's what free speech is about.
Nobody can do that, though.
Of course we can. I do it every fucking day.
You know, it's like you say one thing and it's like, oh, you're labeled this or you're labeled that.
Who cares what they fucking
really
say?
Can't go.
Anybody who's labeling you, anybody who's trying to shut down your free speech is anti-American, and you should point it out to them and tell them how ashamed they should be. Just like all these fucking people in Congress that are trying to shut down Congresswoman Green because of her free speech. They're anti-American. They hate freedom. They certainly hate freedom of speech. And we're not, and they're all testifying to it very openly and very boldly. And I'm disgusted by it.
True. Yeah.
And all the members of the media that you're talking about too. They're making it very clear that they hate free speech and we need to shut this shit down. This is unacceptable. Those people are as anti-American as it gets. They hate America and they hate freedom. And you can count on it.
Except for Fox News.
No,
you know,
fuck Fox News.
You know, they think that Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, is saying the right thing.
No, I don't think they think that.
No.
No, they don't think that. No, they don't.
Sean Hannity last night. You know, Sean Hannity any night.
Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, they're just entertainers. Again, they're just preaching to the different suckers than the CNN people are preaching to.
Well, I just think that all of them need to be fired and
yeah,
you know,
we can agree with that.
You know,
we can agree with that, Rob. Kick all the bums out.
Heck yeah, you know, all the old ones actually. You know what, I have this saying, you know, if you've been there for 30, 40 years, it's time for you to go.
We don't need no fucking professional politician class, man. We just have to end that. You know, you go and you do public service for, you know, a term or two, and then you're done. You know, you make a career out of being a politician like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. Fuck, those people are as horrible as anyone on earth, and they hate freedom. They hate it, and they're the leaders. Nancy Pelosi is third in line for the presidency, and she hates freedom, and she hates freedom of speech, just like Joe Biden, and just like Kamala Harris, and just like Donald Trump, and just like fucking Barack Obama, and just like George Bush and Dick Cheney. They all despise your freedom. And we've watched them. We've watched them chip away at it with the Patriot Act and the National Defense Authorization Act. It's all bullshit. They're all the same. You know, they're just talking to different suckers.
I am about to shock you Republican listeners, though, because I honestly believe that Paul Ryan, the ex-Speaker of the House, the Republican, I believe that he needs to come back because that dude had a good head on his shoulders. You know, he knew what to do. He knew how to handle.
How do you feel about Liz Cheney? Third in power in the Republican Party in the House of Representatives.
Well, she's third in command, and she's third in command for a reason. Mm-hmm. You know, because they don't want her to have the power to go straight to her head. Mm-hmm. You know, because
it's already gone to her head.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like they don't want her to act.
They don't want a woman. They don't want a woman in charge of the Republicans to start with. Number two, if you want to know, the only thing you need to know about Liz Cheney is she is probably the single sitting Senate member of Congress who has profited the most from the events of 9/11. That's who Liz Cheney is. She should be ashamed. She should be in prison, and it should be for the rest of her fucking life.
What about Rudy Giuliani? Because you know they call
fuck
him,
Rudy Giuliani. He's a horrible piece of shit.
Well, I mean, they called him on September 11th America's dad, really, because you know he helped out. And
they call him America's mayor, you know, and he was a fucking piece of shit who fucking was in on the entire events of September 11th. And from what I understand, you know, he knew about it in advance, like many other people. who worked in the World Trade Centers. Okay, so I look, Rob, I got to take a break, but it's good to hear from you. I look forward to talking to you again soon, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so that's Rob from Florida. I need a bong hit. So I'm going to play a quick video about... I'm going to play a quick video about the girl that was pepper sprayed, the 9-year-old girl that was pepper sprayed. I'm going to play that video because some people still haven't seen it, and it's horrific. While I heat up my bong, if anybody would like to join me in a bong hit, we'll be right back to do a big fat puff.
A Rochester, New York police officer is suspended tonight and 2 others placed on administrative leave after body cam video shows them pepper spraying a 9-year-old girl while she was handcuffed in the back of a patrol car. Take a look.
I got her.
Rochester police say they responded to a family trouble call on Friday. They say the 9-year-old girl threatened to kill herself and her mother. Video shows police trying to put the girl in their patrol car. Police say she struggled with officers for several minutes before they used pepper spray to get her secured. She was taken to the hospital and later released. Hundreds of anti-police protesters hit the streets tonight, demanding the officers be fired. The police union called it a difficult situation, but say the officers never broke protocol and tried several methods to calm the girl. State lawmakers meantime, are now calling for a ban on the use of chemical irritants against minors.
All right, so, and I just want to say real quick, Rob was right about it not being easy to speak truth to power. For many, many people, it is not easy to speak truth to power. Because it makes them outcast, like this Congresswoman Green person. You know, if you're speaking the truth is not an easy thing to deal with. I remember when one of my acquaintances was trying to open my eyes to the events of what happened on September 11th and all the crimes that were committed and all the evidence, you know. And I remember when he was first talking about it, he just wouldn't shut up, and he just kept, you know, boom, boom, and this and this and this and this and this, and I started to get really like lightheaded. Like I was gonna black out because it was just this overwhelming thing that was, you know. We don't want to think bad about our government. We want a good government. We want a great government. We don't want to think bad about our politicians. We want to have great politicians. We don't want to think shitty things about our news people, the people who are informing us about the important issues that we need to know about. We don't want to think shitty things about them. We want to have great news people that we believe in wholeheartedly. We're desperate for it. That's why you see people who tune into Fox News and go, oh, see, these people are saying things that I get. Again, you tune into MSNBC. Oh, this news model gets me. You know, I connect with this news model because you're desperate to connect with anybody. And there's nobody out there. You're desperate to believe in someone, some member of Congress, some news person, some police, you know, some authority somewhere. We want that so much. Those are the people we want leading us desperately. And we have nothing like that. And we can do so much better. I mean, you know, the most important job in the world, and the two people that we have to choose from are Donald Trump and Joe Biden. How does that make any sense to anybody? And why are we desperate? For news people, for politicians we can believe in, for that, because we're good people. And we want to believe in people. We want to see, we want to feel good things about people. We want good leaders. We want to be able to believe in our government because we're good people. And we know that we can make something good happen if we can just get these evil motherfucking criminals out of the people's house. And that's what the people that stormed the house were doing. They were trying to take back the house from the evil criminals that currently occupy it, doing crimes in your name on a daily basis. That's what happened on January 6th, in case you're wondering. All right, let's see. We got that one. We got, which one did I do last? Oh, right, grilled pepper spread. Let's see. We got a couple of videos left. We're getting low. If you guys want to call, now's the time to do it. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike. How are you, brother?
I am on fire. How are you?
I'm on fire, too, man. Glad to see you. I'm really enjoying the show. I really appreciate it.
Right on. Thanks very much. It's nice of you to call. What's
Of course.
going on?
This is John. This is John Murdoch calling you from FEMA Region 8, man.
I hear you,
Colorado.
John. I hear you, John. What's going on where you are?
Oh, we're doing pretty good here, man. We got plenty to drink, plenty to smoke, but
Is it snowing?
It's not snowing. No, today it was like 60, man.
Oh,
hot.
wow.
I was laying in the sun.
That sounds
yeah.
awesome.
Yep. John Denver wasn't lying, man. It's great up here.
Yeah, John,
But,
he's missed. He's a miss.
Hey, man, I just wanted to throw out there, it's just crazy what's going on. Here in Denver, it's very convenient with the lockdowns and everything that you're seeing when you pull into the city. They're turning all the roads from like 3-car lanes into 2-car lanes, or 4-car lanes into 2, or 2 into 1, and they're putting in all this 5G infrastructure in all the buildings downtown while everything is closed and everybody is working from home. And it's just crazy that nobody seems to notice this. I don't know if you're seeing similar things in your city.
I don't travel a whole lot. I just kind of stick around my neighborhood mostly. But I see things. I see all kinds of weird stuff on the phone poles and stuff. There's a lot of strange devices on the telephone poles. If you guys don't know it, if you go outside and look at your telephone poles, you're gonna see some strange motherfucking shit on those things.
I've noticed that too, man. Like these big green or black poles. There's no light on it, but it's like a pole, and they just kind of show up one day and they're there.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. And I'm not trying to, sound like a conspiracy theorist like your last caller seems to have trouble grasping some of this stuff.
Well, he's being misled by, we're misled, we're misprogrammed from very, very early age. And now everybody's kind of, sucked into this misinformation age, and it seems like it's headed a lot worse direction. So it's easy to understand how somebody could get lost in that.
Yeah, I just thought it was crazy. I think here in Denver they're calling it like the last mile, or maybe it's Agenda 21 or the Great Reset. But you can really just see they're making all these changes to the infrastructure all around.
Mm-hmm. I hear the Great Reset a lot.
Yeah, it sure seems like it, man. It's very crazy, wild times, but it's also kind of a coincidence that at least here, all the restaurants are starting to open up now that the election is over.
Well, I've been telling everybody since before Biden took office that by April, May at the latest, the COVID's pretty much going to be a non-story on the news. It'll be one of those last, and today, and where there was less than 100 deaths from the COVID-19. It'd be nothing in 2 or 3 months, because it has to be. There isn't really an option for Joe Biden. They have to get the economy restarted. Otherwise, his presidency is gonna be a total failure, which means Kamala Harris will not be able to be reelected, and you know what I mean. So it's just a matter of it's pretty obvious that that's the direction it was going to go. I saw it back in November that as soon as Joe Biden takes office, they're going to go, like, the first thing he did was he said, oh, we're going to have a 100-day mask mandate, right? 100 days. So that puts us like what, April? Boom, and what they're going to do is around, the end of March, you're going to come out and say, oh, look, the COVID thing has been turned around and the deaths are going way down. And all it took was a little bit of real leadership. We're all so lucky to have Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I said almost verbatim the same thing, that they'll say, oh, if only that schmuck Trump would have signed that national mask mandate. It was that easy.
Right, exactly.
But he refused, he refused. And, man, they're doing the vaccine rollout here in Denver, and the people lining up, and you just feel sorry for them. I'm pretty sure I heard you say that you're not interested in taking the vaccine, but
yeah, I've been seeing two doctors.
It seems like everybody I talk to, man. It seems like everybody I talk to, they can't wait to get it, and
really, wow,
it's really sad. It's really sad.
That's
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it's so weird. You would think, people. I don't know. I've never ever in my life got a flu vaccine, and I can't imagine doing that, and. This is just way, in my opinion, way under tested. So
a really good friend of mine,
yeah.
I'd be curious what your thoughts were. A really good friend of mine is concerned that, she might lose her job if she can't produce credentials that she's been vaccinated. What do you think about that?
I think that's bullshit, number one. But she should be able to have, like, religious exemptions or something like that. If she says that she's had she had reaction to medicines in the past, like I have. That's one of the things. If they start saying, "Oh, you have to get it," I'm gonna be like, "Well, I'm allergic to penicillin." So you said if you have medical allergies that you shouldn't get it. So I'm not getting it. And I think, again, there should be there seems to be a lot of religious exemptions available. So if she's at all spiritual, that I think that's also an out.
Yeah. Doesn't it suck that you have to justify yourself? You should just be able to say, I don't want it.
Well, yeah, you should be able to say, I'm a sovereign person who's an adult and able to make conscious decisions on my own. And in my opinion, this vaccine has not been properly tested, so I will choose to wait from give it to someone else. From what I hear, there's not enough vaccine, so just give it to someone else and, we're good. But yeah, no, this job thing where they can say, oh, because I'm hearing this a lot with the restaurants and stuff. The restaurants are saying, oh yeah, well, I'm going to make sure all my employees get the COVID. And that's just this fucking virtue signaling to saying, oh no, look, our restaurant's safe. We all got the COVID vaccine. It's just a load of fucking crap. And employers should not be able to tell their employees how they have to live their life. That's just not right.
Yeah, I agree. I try to use humor to try to turn it back on people. It's really the only weapon we have because we can't engage them head on. So when I was at work and everybody was virtue signaling, I said, oh, well, once I get the vaccine, does that mean I don't have to wear a condom anymore?
It'd be nice.
But to throw stuff out there,
Yeah. And again, that's the facts. I like the using humor technique because there is humor to be found in almost any situation if you're really, if you have a sense of humor and you're actually trying hard to look for it. There is always almost every situation there's some kind of humor.
Yeah, hey, I don't want to take too much time, so I'm just going to come at you real quick. Two things. Number one, just sticking with the show, because me and my wife watch every time we see you on, and we really appreciate it. It's real nice. I'd rather watch Mox News than any of my local news or anything, CNN or any of that crap. So we really appreciate it. But
well, that's really nice. That's really nice of you to say, and thank you very much for saying that. Go ahead.
Absolutely, man. We love you. And I know the guy is kind of hard to listen to, and I respect your arguments because I've heard the same thing. But the guy Manny who keeps calling and talking about the economy, I know that this kind of sounds like people beating the drum over and over again, but I really kind of agree with him that this time it's different. And with this COVID thing, that I know people have been saying for years and years and years that the economy is going to crash, but I really feel like it could really happen this time. So maybe just cut him some slack.
Yeah, I'm not, it's not, look, it's not, here's the deal, okay? In February, when Manny would call, Manny would say, we're all going to die. We're all going to die, okay? Manny's well bought into the hyped up fear. Okay, and I said, look, Manny, look, buddy. They said, okay, there's like a 2-week incubation period, okay? So that means all you got to do is get through the next 2 weeks, and then you'll know if you have the illness or not. But don't be like, we're going to die right now, because that's like attracting the fear, and, you know, and don't buy into the fear, because that's what it's, you know, again and again, I've said that over and over and over for years and years and years and years. And, you know, and there was a lot of people like that, but Manny in particular was, you know, terrified. And the thing is I want him to be stronger, and I want everyone to be stronger than to buying into the hyped up fear. So I hear what you're saying, and this is a different situation, and there's a lot of signs. But the thing is if you stay cool, we'll get through it. If you don't stay cool, then there's a chance that you're going to do something stupid and not get through it. So one of my jobs is to help people try and stay cool, and you're not going to be able to do that, man. You're not going to be able to do that if you're bought into this, you know. I don't want people to be upset about the wrong things. There's stuff to be upset about, but you know, when the economy goes, it goes, and like I said, we've heard it forever, and it hasn't happened. So if it does happen, we'll deal with it just like we deal with everything else. It's like I said, stay cool, we'll get through it. Because we always do, and there really isn't another option. Whatever it is, we always get through it. Whatever it is, we always get through it. So we'll get through it as long as you stay cool. And like I said, if you go back to February, you'll see that with Manny and numerous other callers. And I don't want people living their lives terrorized by a bullshit media, you know?
No, I do agree with you, like, in the sense that you're right. No matter what happens, we'll get through it. And people do get caught up in the fear porn. And, you know, I don't know exactly what forces are happening behind the scenes, but like you said, they keep it going, and I still got, you know, my cannabis here, and, you know,
could be worse,
and electricity, and you just got to be grateful, I guess.
Well, it could be worse. That's what I would say. You know, I got my dogs. You know, I have a nice neighborhood. It could be so much worse, you know, and I'm just, it's like, I live on nothing. You know what I mean? I live on nothing, and it's been that way for 20 years. And all I can think is, you know, I just don't have that far to fall. So, you know, I really don't have anything to be afraid of. It's like, oh, I'm afraid I'm not going to have any money next month. Well, I haven't had any money forever, so what's the fucking thing to be afraid of, you know?
You know, that's why I love you, man. I swear I have said the exact same thing to people in my life, that, you know, I never had anything to begin with. So this has all been pretty good run as far as I'm concerned.
And, you know, we live like kings. I mean, that's honestly the way I see it. The way, like, the food options that we have. You know, if you're cold, you go and fucking turn a dial and you get warmed up. You know, the food options that we have. It would have took a king back in the day, 200, 500 years ago, you know, 20 fucking chefs to eat the way that we eat, and they would have had to be brilliant chefs to have all the options that we have these days, you know. And
that's right.
So we live like kings. We have it could be just we have a good life. It's just we need a good government. We need good leaders. We need good news media to stop fucking with us. You know, stop hyping the fear. Stop, you know, making a bigger, stronger, more fucking well-funded police state. Who needs that? We have a beautiful fucking world that we can all enjoy if you just get over the fucking fear bullshit, you know?
I agree. Since I have a friend watching, I get a lot of people who tell me, who is we? You know, who is they? You know, they are doing this to us. Can you explain or speak to people what we mean when we say they? You know, the powers that be, because people just don't seem to get it.
Well, again, the way I see things, when I say we, I'm talking about we the people. And again, if we can come beyond our petty differences, we the people have all the power. And when I say they, I've made it clear earlier that where we're at in this planet right now is either you stand on the side of freedom or you stand with the police state. The police state is they.
Amen, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, man, I'll let you go, but like I said, I'm watching every night that you're on, and keep up the good work. And it was just great talking to you, man.
Yeah,
I'll back in the future.
I look forward.
Hey, how do you?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I look forward to talking to you again too. Thanks so much for calling. How do you what?
Or I was just going to say, I really liked your background, how you get your dog in there and the water and the space and all that stuff. What do you use? How do you do that?
We have 2 cameras, and he has his own green screen, and I have my own green screen.
That's awesome. We appreciate it, man.
Right on.
And it's John Murdoch.
Hey,
So
John.
we'll talk to you soon.
All right, look forward to it, bro. Stay cool.
Right on. Later.
Okay, and again, that's if you go back to February, March, you will see shows in which people are going, we're all going to die. We're all dead because of the hyped up fear that the media blast 24/7, the hyped up fear that the police, the politicians are a big part of, the politicians are the police state. They're the ones who keep the police state firmly in place. The drug war, the private prisons, you know, whatever. Joe Biden signed a thing about private prisons. We'll see. He also created the Biden crime bill. Don't forget. So maybe he's having a little bit of guilt. Okay, so I have another video for you. If anybody wants to call, the number's right there on the screen. It's 805-669-6397. This is just a short video, but it's important, and I wanted to make sure you guys got a chance to see it so that, well, again, I love nature, and I think it's really messed up that people are programmed to act as if we're separate from nature, because I think it's really, really important that when we see the top of the food chain dying off on this planet, that we understand that's the top of the food chain. That's where we're at. This might be an important thing. So I wanted to play this video for you about the gray whales.
In just the past 4 years, the West Coast has lost about a quarter of its gray whale population. But the findings are not a surprise to researchers. Gray whales have been dying by the hundreds off the West Coast in recent years. Many have been found stranded on beaches. Scientists still don't know exactly what's causing it, but have noticed whales are much thinner. Since the mid-1960s, there have been at least 2 similar declines in gray whale populations, but they didn't last long.
We've seen these events in the past, and they have recovered, and they've caused a lot of concern at the time, rightfully so. But generally, we've seen them bounce back. So I hope that's what we'll see again.
Federal researchers hope to do another gray whale count off the West Coast this spring.
Naturally, it's a less than a 1 minute video because we don't want you guys too upset about nature. We don't want you caring too much about the whales dying, and naturally they said, we hope that this is a temporary thing. Again, fuck hope. if we didn't have hope, if we weren't saying, oh, we hope for a better tomorrow, maybe we'd actually be forced to take action now to fucking make sure that there's a better tomorrow, you know? To make sure that there's gray whales tomorrow. Because that's really fucked up. And it's all totally on our watch. And we're 100% responsible for it. In both ways. In the way that it's good for them and the way that it's bad for them. We're 100% responsible. And it sucks that that's who we are. That this is who we choose to be. Because we can do better. Okay, so I have another video about, okay. You remember, oh, hold on. Hello, caller.
Hey, what's up, Moss? Man, it's Brandon, man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, Brandon. Thanks for calling. How about you?
Oh, you know what? You nailed it on the head when you showed that video, and a gentleman asked you, the last call, about your background, and then you it kind of rolled right into your love of nature, and you talk about these whales out there. It's funny how politically, if you love nature, then you know, you don't love the oil and gas industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it's like, and they separated. It's like, well, the religious people are over here, and those other people are on that side. So it has a religious undertone to it. And if you bring with the religious undertone to it, it comes with the gun undertone to it, and freedom, and gun owners or sportsmen like to hunt and fish and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then you throw in like, hey, let's protect the planet. Oh, no. It is actually like checkers or chess, where you're playing a game and you got black pieces and white pieces. The pieces all look the same. The only difference is the color of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The chessboard is black and white, or red and white when it comes to checkers or whatever, or black and red. I'm sorry, but yeah, but the pieces and the board's the same. It's just really how you carve up the narrative. It's like, well, I like to hunt, I like to fish, but how many of those people would want to go hunt and fish in, say, you know, Western Pennsylvania, where all the deer are breathing in those chemicals from, like, you know, the damn shelling companies. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yet they don't care about that. You know, they just care about their guns or their religion. And it's such a double standard, and it's too many hypocrites when it comes to bullshit like that. And but obviously some people don't really see nature the way that some people see it. You know, if you grew up, you know, out to where you could see certain things, like, I don't know.
I grew up on the beach, barefoot.
Okay, hey, listen. I was born in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina,
Yeah.
so I know all about the beach. And I grew up in Nashville, where I got that country living, and then I moved back to Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and still when I was still young, and every day, me and my cousin would ride our bike to the beach and park our bikes to go hanging on the beach and take some bread and throw it to the seagulls. You know, all that stuff. And you see it, and it's amazing. And you can see, like, the sunset or the sun, or over on the East Coast, where in Myrtle Beach, you see, like, you know, the sunrise, and, you know, I'm pretty sure y'all see the sunset on that side, up over the water or whatever. But yeah, but it's just at the end of the day, I think what America has a problem with is any respect towards empathy. You know, and it's not like we'll mock the poor guy on the street that lives in a box. Like, we'll actually make fun of him, right? Like, we'll cheer if a president gets elected, and we hope he fails. Like, we'll actually cheer and say, yeah, you know, like, we're so ass backwards.
Well, we're so divided.
Because
We're so divided.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you know what, though, to be honest, when I'm standing behind somebody who might not like me at a grocery store, or they're standing behind me, I'm not thinking I don't like him or he don't like me. You know, it's not that. It's just these fucking groups that to where I have a lot of my buddies that are like middle-aged white men, and they're hell-bent on so much shit. Like, they're like, a majority of them biggest concern is I'm gonna be the minority one day. You know? And I'm like, yeah, like 30 fucking years. Like, have you did the math? But I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, literally, what are you? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, and no, it gets worse than that. But I don't even want to fucking go into it unless you tell me to. But it is like, well, they had to hire a black person. Now, this motherfucker don't work. Like, you know, he got a heart condition. He gets a SSI check. You know, he owns his house luckily, and then he goes to the fucking to the food pantry twice a week, and he sells comic books on eBay.
Wow.
You know, this is just but he's a hustler. He makes it work, right?
Yeah.
And then hold up, he's against Mike $15 an hour minimum wage. And I'm like, why you don't work? You don't do, you know? But why would you want to hold somebody down trying to provide for their family? But when I look at it, he's a man, no kids, never been married. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But he's unhappy for some reason, and I don't know why. I'm like, okay, dude, like,
right.
You ain't got no child support, you ain't got no kids. All your money is your money.
Well, it sounds like he's unhappy because he's going to be a minority one day.
Yeah, in 30 years,
Yeah.
I don't get it. He's like 50, he's 50, he's 80. But then when he's, it's so ridiculous.
What kind? I mean, I talk about fear constantly. I mean, and I see that programming too. You know, I mean, it's just, how can you not know? How can you not understand this is some fear programming that you're experiencing right now? This just completely, you're missing out on all the good to experience and choosing the most negative thing you can find to latch onto. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? You know?
Yeah, you know, I know so many guys in his situation like that. You know, and I'm like, they'd be like, well, I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on in their life, but everything to them is black or white, right?
Huh.
Meaning they have to carry like my one buddy told me, and he was like, well, you can't blame all the white people for what their ancestors did. And I was like, okay, well, let's tell the cops that. You know what I'm saying? Like let's start right there to where you don't judge a black person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean,
you know,
you can't look at a black person.
See it that way.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people. Again, there's this horrible programming that goes on, Brandon. You know.
I know. Hollywood's number one.
Yeah, Hollywood. I mean, how many? You know, these Clint Eastwood type movies where this is like a real man movie. You know, and then in the middle of the movie, there's some little 90-pound girl and she's walking down a dark alleyway and there's scary music and all of a sudden black guys appear. You know. Over and over and over and over. How many times have we seen that in the movies? You know, I mean, it's just standard programming, and it's horrible.
Listen, Clint Eastwood said it best when he went and got that cup of coffee, and she dumped all that sugar in it, and he walked back in there, and it's like, and he goes like, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" And it was two black guys. Who the fuck robs a cafe at breakfast time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But It is programming.
That's how you get shot. I mean, that's how the Pulp Fiction starts off. It's not breakfast though. It's like but you know, that's when all the money is. I mean, you rob.
No. I was talking about Dirty Harry.
Yeah, right. No, but I'm saying that's how Pulp Fiction starts off, is a robbery in a restaurant. It's actually how it ends also too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. When he opens up the suitcase.
Yeah.
He sees the soul.
Yeah.
I guess it's what it's soul, right?
He sees what, I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
Me neither. It's never really been revealed.
But
he opened it up.
But that's when he's
like, man.
He's like, it's the one that says "bad motherfucker" on it. Goddamn right.
Yeah, but yeah, Mox, man, just like the last caller said, man, you put on a good show. You're more entertainment, you know, than any bullshit and stuff like that. Not like you're entertainment, but like you actually give people a voice, you know, and then people have different perspectives and stuff like that. And whenever you get hot and heavy, I love it. Like me and my wife was listening to you, you know, and it was so funny because I think he was talking to the other guy. But yeah, man. But dude, keep doing what you're doing, Mox. Man, you're doing great. And
hey, did you talk to Robert? Is he going to call back?
Oh well, yeah. He called me before he called in tonight. He said, "Hey, you think I should call him?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Go. Hey, FaceTime me." I'm like, "Hey, now, oh yeah, wait a minute. Now, do I? No, well, hang on. Let me back up." Oh shit, I'm so fucked up on this one. And he said, "Okay." I'm like, "All right, man." He goes, "Well, I'll call you when I'm done." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." He didn't call me when he got off the phone with you. Hey, you must have made his woo-woo hurt. You know what I'm saying?
It's not that. It's you know, you make people wonder what they think. You know, they question their own thoughts, and that's a heavy thing to have to do, man. You know.
Yeah. Well, you gotta think outside the box, and some people, you know, some people just want structure. They want an alarm clock to go off every morning at 5:30.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to get up and do their routine, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But some people, they don't want to do that.
Anarchy!
Yeah, that's what they say. Oh man, they're a bum. They're hippies. They're this. They're that. They're lazy. Whatever. And you know, and then you put them all in a box.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what we do. We attach the labels so that we once we get a label attached to them, then it's easy to know. Oh, we disregard that person because they're one of those. You know.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, brother, on that one, man. Yeah, and unfortunately, we're all guilty of it. You know.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, you know.
It's part of the programming. It's what we're what we're taught to do.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It is. But all right, brother, I'm gonna holler at you, okay?
It's always good to hear from you, Brandon.
All right.
Stay cool, bro. That's our buddy, Bronze Star Brandon. I guess that was his friend who called earlier, Rob. I thought he was Robert the other day when he called. And I chewed him out. And today he was Rob when he called. And I chewed him out. And I'm not chewing anybody out. I'm just trying to get you to come into reality. That's all. You know? A plane hit the Twin Towers. Fuck. I mean, the Pentagon. Give me a fucking break. No plane hit the fucking Pentagon. Come into... And you know what really bothers me? Is that if a plane didn't hit the Pentagon, where are all those people that were on the plane that was supposed to hit the Pentagon? And why is no one concerned about where those people are, since there's no evidence that a plane hit the Pentagon, right? I would be. If my sister was supposed to be on that plane or my mom, I would be just screaming my lungs out. What's up, caller?
Hey, Mox, it's Daniel, and good to talk to you. But hey, you need a dab, don't you? I think I do too. I don't know. Shit. Should I call you back? What?
What's up, Daniel?
You don't want to dab? Oh, fuck. Oh, God, I want to talk forever, but you always fucking hang up on me because you seem to not be able to hang. So, shit. I always want to be nice, but, you know, you always want to hang up. So.
Did you have something you wanted to say besides criticizing me, Daniel?
Well, how long do I have to speak? You said my dime. You said, oh, it's your dime. Oh, is it my dime?
I don't think I've ever fucking said it's your dime to anyone in my entire fucking life, Daniel. Thanks so much for calling. Good to hear from you. What the fuck? Don't tell me what I fucking said and didn't say when you're talking out your motherfucking ass. All right? You want to call here with a chip on your shoulder? Fuck you. Okay? I am here to be a good host. Not here to take shit off somebody who's got a fucking chip on their shoulder. Okay? And I'm a damn good host, and you hear it in caller after caller, so maybe the problem isn't me, Daniel. All right, so let's do another video here of, again, there's a petition now in the Tacoma for the Tacoma Police Department to fire the police officer, 30-year veteran police officer who the other 2 weeks ago or so ran over a protester that was at the street races, and then the cops showed up and the people started like shouting at the cops, and the cop just like punched it and ran over a bunch of protesters, ran particularly 2 tires over one person, and then bashed into a bunch of other ones. There is now a petition to have that officer immediately removed from the Tacoma Police Department and the Tacoma Police Department to be immediately defunded. So we'll see where that goes, hopefully very soon.
In just a few hours, the Tacoma City Council is expected to look at a petition calling for a police officer's immediate termination. This comes after the officer hit multiple people with his patrol vehicle, and a warning: some of this video could be difficult to watch. This goes beyond that one officer, though. It also calls on the city manager to resign and for police to have funding cut by 50%. Police got called out to the street racing, but when the officer's vehicle was surrounded by people, video shows that police officer revving his engine and then driving through the crowd. 2 people were hospitalized.
There's my beautiful baby laying down by the river. All right, so I am pretty much out of videos here. I have the shooting sharks video. I have the vet killed at the DC protest video. And I have a fucking tiger video. I wonder if I have a fucking tiger video. I haven't played the fucking tiger video for a little bit. Where's video number 4? There is no video number 4. Oh my god. How can there not be a clip number 4? Where'd the fucking tiger go? No fucking tiger anymore? Oh, fucking tiger. Aha! I don't see a fucking tiger. What do you mean a fucking tiger? Rah! Fucking tiger! Ah! Ah. I love that clip. What fucking tiger? There's no tiger. There's no tiger. What the fuck are you talking about? Tiger. Ah! That tiger is so cool. He's like, oh, freeze. He sees me. He sees me. No, he doesn't see me. Ah! I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. That is one bored tiger right there. He looks happy, though. He looks like he had fun there anyways. Right? Let's see. Okay, there's my beautiful baby. And, you know, I don't want to play the vet killed at the DC protest today. It was nice to play the fucking tiger video, though. If you want to call, the number's right there on the screen. I'm going to give you just a couple more minutes here. And then we are out of here.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Okay, well, I gave you guys a chance. We do this every Monday through Friday, so if you guys don't know, that's what we do. It's always better when you're here, so be sure and tune in. Same Mox time, same Mox channel tomorrow night, and otherwise, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool till then.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories, 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.